A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The following program is transcribed.
For a wash that's deep clean, sparkling clean, use Deep Cleaning Oxidol.
Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning.
Oxidol's own Ma Perkins. You know, ladies, with all the talk today about new wash day products, here's news you'll be especially interested in. News that means a dazzling clean wash for you. News about Deep Cleaning Oxidol. You see, it's an actual fact. Deep Cleaning Oxidol washes out the gray dirt left in clothes by the leading wash day suds, the leading shortcut suds. And this is a fact that was proved to women in an amazing washing demonstration. One of the women present at this demonstration was Mrs. Donald Smith of Elmwood, Ohio. And here's what Mrs. Smith saw.
In this washing demonstration, they used my clean clothes. At least I thought they were clean because I had just washed them with the leading suds the way you're told to. Then they washed those clothes over again, this time with Deep Cleaning Oxidol. You should have seen the dirty wash water come out of those clothes I thought were clean. The dirty wash water showed me Oxidol really can get out the gray dirt left in clothes by those leading shortcut suds.
Thanks, Mrs. Smith. And ladies, here's something we'd like you to do. Next wash day, use Deep Cleaning Oxidol. See for yourself how much dirt Oxidol can get out of your clothes. And then, most important of all, look at the clothes themselves. When you use Deep Cleaning Oxidol, your clothes look white and bright. Your clothes feel soft and fluffy. Your clothes smell sweet, too. Yes, your clothes look clean, feel clean, smell clean, because they are clean with Deep Cleaning Oxidol. Yet, Deep Cleaning Oxidol is truly safe. Deep clean clothes stay brighter, new-looking longer. So don't wash clothes with suds that leave dirt in. Get clothes deep clean, sparkling clean with Deep Cleaning Oxidol.
Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning.
Ask your dealer for Oxidol today. Now, for Ma Perkins. Well, at last, is Ma learning the truth about the cousins? The particular point at issue is whether Cousin Sylvester lied to Ma, lied to Faye, about taking money from Willie and Evie. Of course, we know he did lie. He did take the money. But the issue is even bigger. Sylvester has proposed to Faye, and much to our surprise, Faye is thinking about it. And we know Ma's passionate loyalty to the cousins. And we know the cousins' passionate loyalty to their own selfishness. But is Ma close to the truth at last? Well, right now it's the middle of the morning, and we find Shuffle and Faye together at the house. Faye has just telephoned Ma that Shuffle's come over. Listen.
All right, Ma, I'll tell him. Bye. Ma says she'll be right home, Shuffle. Says it's better to talk here than for you to go to the lumber yard.
Okay, Faye. The only things have sure come to a pretty pass when Shuffle Silver can't walk into the Perkins lumber yard. When Ma Perkins can't sit in her own office in her own place of business and talk with whoever she's got a mind to talk with.
I guess it's because Cousin Ed and Cousin Sylvester are there, Shuffle. Ma...
Sure, it's because Cousin Ed and Cousin Sylvester are there. Why else? And what's crazy old Shuffle gone and said now that you turn your face away, Faye?
Nothing, Shuffle. So, Ma had a conference with Willie and Evie. Did she find out anything?
She found out enough to bring me charging all the way here from Middleborough. Oh, Willie and Evie said no, they ain't in any business deal with dear, sweet Cousin Sylvester. But Ma figured...
Willie and Evie said there wasn't any business deal?
But Ma said she ain't satisfied. Willie never told her no deal. Ma got a funny feeling while they were saying it. When Ma called me, I just slammed on my hat and caught the next bus over here. Ma got a feeling, Fay. Oh, Fay, why do you keep turning away from me and looking out the window? Am I using cuss words which ain't fit for your ladylike ears?
Oh, it's not that, Shuffle. No, of course not. It's just... Oh, Shuffle, add it all up. I asked Sylvester if he had a business here with Willie and Evie, if he knew anything about Willie's and Evie's life savings. Sylvester said no. Ma asked Sylvester. He said no to her, too. Now Ma's gone to Willie and Evie, and they said no. I'm only saying, Shuffle, the whole weight of evidence is against what you hope it is.
It ain't just a question of just what old Shuffle hopes, Fay. It's a question of the truth. And to my dying day, that's what I'll believe. That Cousin Sylvester went and hornswoggled poor old Willie and Evie out of their life savings.
And lied about it.
And for some reason or other, he's got poor old Evie and Willie convinced that they should lie about it, too. Lies. From beginning to end, nothing but lies. Oh, what's the matter, Fay? Am I some kind of a lunatic which you can't even bear to look at me?
What you're asking me to believe, Shuffle? That Cousin Sylvester has some sort of hold on Willie and Evie. He can get them to lie. Get them to lie to Ma. To Ma, of all people. You're asking me to believe that Sylvester's a thief, a swindler. And we have no evidence, Shuffle. What do we have to go on? You yourself say you feel it. But you've had feelings about the cousins from the minute they got to town, Shuffle.
So there we have it. Spoke out real plain and simple. Fay believes that old Shuffle is a lunatic.
Oh, no.
Well, anyhow, on this one subject. On the telephone, Ma Perkins told me that she's beginning to get the same feeling that I got, Fay.
Yes, that's what you said.
Yes.
I don't like any of this, Shuffle. I don't like looking for plots and counterplots. I don't like thinking along such lines. Did he lie? Did she lie? Did this one take that one's money? It's all so ugly, so cheap. I feel so cheap just thinking such thoughts.
Maybe you ain't the only one who's been made to feel cheap, Fay. You think I enjoy thinking such bad thoughts about Ma's cousins, Pa's cousins? Maybe that's the terrible thing about cheapness, Fay. It kind of rubs off on whoever touches it.
You mean it's the cousins who are responsible for all this? I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Was that the front door?
Dave, you inside?
Yeah, that's Ma in the kitchen. We're here in the parlor, Ma. I'm sorry if I've said anything to give you offense, Shuffle.
Why, Fay, you know you couldn't give me offense if you tried. Morning, Ma. You made it fast.
Morning, Shepard. Hello, Fairchild.
Oh, Ma.
Yes, Sylvester was going up the street in the truck, and he gave me a ride. Oh, land, that truck's seen its best days. I didn't realize it was so rattly.
It wasn't rattly 2 months ago when I was driving it.
Huh? You mean Cousin Ed and Sylvester don't exactly... Well, maybe. No, that ain't important. Sit down, Shuffle. I'm sure that you want to get back to Middleborough. I know I got to get back to the office, too.
Yes, ma'am. So, you went to see Willie and Evie this morning. And Willie and Evie said no, they didn't take their money out of the bank and hand it over to Sylvester.
That's right. Willie and Evie said they didn't. And Shuffle, I don't know if I told you this, but days and days ago I asked Cousin Sylvester to his face. And I believe so did Spade. And Sylvester said to her and to me both, he don't know nothing about Willie's and Evie's money. So, when you add it all up, Shuffle...
So, when you add it all up, Ma, we ain't got a speck of evidence against Cousin Sylvester. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I just finished saying, Ma.
Oh, it ain't only this particular matter, Shuffle. Willie's and Evie's money. Willie and Evie are grown folks. And they can do with their money like they please. It's the lesson behind this matter which has got me so mixed up. And that's the word I want, a lesson. The conclusion, the answer, with the final thing which comes out of all of it. Because what you're saying, Shuffle, is that Benita's boy, our cousin, and maybe the whole family, Benita's boy and Benita herself and Cousin Ed. That they're liars. Worse than liars. It's bad enough that they lie to me and say, but that they took Willie's and Abby's money for themselves? Stealing. Because that is it, Shuffle. If it all comes together like you've been suggesting, that is the answer. My cousins are thieves and liars and cheats, and they come to this town only to do all of us harm.
Ain't no secret about my feelings on the subject of the cousins. Yes, Ma, I wouldn't put it past Cousin Ed and Cousin Sylvester to do exactly like you just said. Not only lie, but steal and cheat. And hurt. Yes, that's what I've been saying for months now.
Oh, Shuffle.
Oh.
And now Ma Perkins is turning her face away from me to look out the kitchen window. Ma, not 2 hours ago you spoke to me on the phone. And it was you who said that you had a funny feeling about the answers which Willie and Evie give to you. And for the first time in months and months and months, seemed like you was the old Ma Perkins. And I come steaming over here to Rushville Center a mile a minute just to talk to you about it. Didn't I hear you right on the telephone, Ma?
You heard me right, Shuffle. But you see, I just spoke to Cousin Sylvester and Cousin Ed again. Just now, just after I called you, Shuffle.
You asked them, Ma?
Yes, I asked them. I put it real simple. Did either of them know anything at all about Willie's and Evie's money? They both said no.
And there we are. Again and again, the answer has been no. Oh, Shuffle, isn't it possible that you're mistaken? Ma just said it. You're asking us to believe such terrible, terrible things about the cousins and without a single shred of proof. Well, why are you putting on your hat, Shuffle?
Shuffle, you ain't mad at me.
No, Ma. I ain't mad at you. But you got such emotions when it comes to them cousins. You keep saying we ain't got no proof. Okay, I'm setting out to get some proof. From Willie. If necessary, I'll hold that boy's head in a bucket of water until he gives me his life savings. Unless he's already gave them to Sylvester. But I'm getting at the truth. Cousins. They've ruined my life. They tried to ruin Marietta's life. And to the soles of my shoes, I believe they've ruined Willie and Evie's life. Won't we be satisfied until they've ruined Ma Perkins, too? And Faye? I'm going out to get some proof. And, Ma, I won't be back. I am never going to come back again until I can look you in the eye, Ma Perkins, and prove to you your cousins are like I say. They're crooks.
Ladies, prepare yourself for the surprise of your life the first time you wash your clothes with deep cleaning Oxidol. For deep cleaning means Oxidol reaches deep down into fabrics and washes out grimy dirt. Gets clothes sparkling clean. You can see clothes washed with Oxidol are dazzling white and bright. You can feel clothes are soft and fluffy. You can smell clothes are sweet and fresh. Yes, clothes look clean, feel clean, smell clean, because they are clean with deep cleaning Oxidol. So for a wash that's deep clean, sparkling clean, get deep cleaning Oxidol at your dealers now in the same familiar Oxidol package. And will Shuffle find out the truth? Well, Ma's due for another surprise when she hears about Sylvester's proposal of marriage to Faye tomorrow. But now this is Charlie Warren inviting you to listen again tomorrow, same time, same station, to Oxidol's own Ma Perkins transcribed, presented by the Procter & Gamble Company. For a wash that's deep clean, sparkling clean, use deep cleaning Oxidol.
Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning.
you're about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A small boy is reported missing from his home. His age, 9 years. Foul play is suspected. Your job, find him.
You'll be amazed when you compare Fatima with other long cigarettes.
You'll find they now cost the same. Difference is quality.
You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild, with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
So try comparing Fatima yourself. Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima tomorrow.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, December 22nd. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way into work, and it was 3:55 p.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Hi, Joe.
Ben? Well, here's the file on the Webster case.
Have all the follow-ups been made?
Yeah. I get it. Homicide, Friday.
This Levinson unit, 113J, got something for you.
Yeah, Harry, what's doing?
Doherty and I are out here on Commerce Avenue, 4656, trying to track down a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah, what's the story?
The kid's missing, suspicion of foul play.
How long's he been gone?
About 2 hours. Looks like a job for homicide.
How do you figure?
The kid was last seen playing in the backyard of his home.
Yeah?
We checked over the yard.
Did you find anything?
Bloodstains, lots of them. They look new.
Ben and I left a message for Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. Then we went over to the crime lab, picked up Lieutenant Lee Jones, and drove out the Arroyo Seco freeway to Collis Avenue. It was an average neighborhood. Number 4656 was a one-story green stucco residence situated on the corner of Collis Avenue and Harrison Drive. Beyond the backyard was a tract of undeveloped land covered with scrub oak. Harry Levinson from Highland Park Juvenile was waiting for us in front of the house.
Let's back this way, fellas.
Coming, Lee?
Wait till I get my bag.
Who notified you that the boy was missing, Harry?
The mother said she went out to do some Christmas shopping about 11 this morning, left the boy home.
Mm-hmm.
She came back about 2 this afternoon. He was gone.
What's the name?
Johnstone. The kid's name is Stanley, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm. Was this gate open like this when you got here?
Yeah, I haven't touched a thing. I hear the stains over here, Lieutenant Jones, along the edge of the walk. See?
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, quite a few stains, huh?
Yeah. Looks like it might be blood. Try some benzodine on them. There we are. See what happened.
Where's the kid's mother now, Harry?
Yeah, in the house. Doherty's talking to her.
Did you talk to any of the neighbors?
People next door, the ones on this side. They couldn't tell us anything.
There it is, fellas.
Yeah, Lee.
These spots I covered with benzodine, they're turning blue. Bloodstains, all right. You can't say definitely whether it's human or animal blood.
Mm-hmm. Did you have to go back to the lab to run it through?
Yeah, biological precipitant test. Hand me one of those glass files from my bag, will you?
Yeah, sure. Okay, here you go.
Thanks. Scrape some flakes off for a test. There we are.
How soon can you type the blood for us, Lee?
Precipitant test won't run more than 20 minutes. It'll take 3 or 4 hours to run a blood grouping, though. That's it. Anything else you want to check?
Levinson? Anything else?
Oh, yeah, right here in my handkerchief. Empty shell. That marker over there by the rose bush? That's where I found it.
From a 22, huh?
Yeah, might tie in, might not.
Mark it and dump it in this envelope, will you?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
Did you get out a missing broadcast on the boy here?
Doherty did about a half an hour ago. Here's a description here.
Thank you.
Will Mother know about the bloodstains?
No, we didn't tell her. She's worried enough already.
She has no idea what might have happened to her boy, huh?
No more than we do. She checked all her friends and relatives. We're covering the neighborhood. No trace so far.
Not much to go on.
Bloodstains. Empty cartridge.
Yeah, it could mean 100 things.
Any ideas, Friday?
Just one, and I don't like it. 4:30 p.m. Thursday, December 22nd. The neighborhood search for 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone continued. Lee Jones went back to the crime lab to start the precipitin test and the blood grouping. Levinson and his partner Doherty from Highland Juvenile stood by. We called Chief of Detectives Thad Brown, and he ordered up a special detail to aid in the search for the missing boy. Ben and I questioned the boy's mother, Mrs. Ruth Johnstone, a woman in her early 40s. She seemed fairly calm under the circumstances.
Miss Johnson, is your boy Stanley in the habit of wandering off without telling you where he's going?
No, he's not in the habit of wandering off, but he has done it before.
Well, when was the last time, Miss Johnstone?
You don't have any children, do you, Sergeant Friday?
No, ma'am, I'm not married.
Well, there comes a time in every young boy's life when he feels it is time to leave home, go out on his own. Usually happens somewhere around 8 to 10.
I think I know what you mean. I have a boy.
Well, then you know how it is. My husband and I scolded Stanley one afternoon after school, and he was quite put out about it. Thought George and I were unfair. Packed a few of his things and left.
Well, how long was he gone?
Oh, no time at all, about 2 hours. I was worried about him, but my husband said to leave him alone. Said every boy had to go through that stage.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you think that he's run away from home again this time?
Yes, I think so. He's been gone about 4 hours now, and I have a funny feeling about it.
Did you and his father have some misunderstanding with the boy recently?
Well, that's just it. We haven't. I don't mind telling you now that we're talking about it. I am getting worried.
Well, is there any place around that he might like to visit, a hobby shop, playground, someplace he might be?
Yes, there's Jensen's model shop, Little Shannon Burroughs, but I've already called there, and he hasn't been seen all day. I've called all his friends, and they have no idea where he is either.
Well, we'd like a list of all of his friends and the places that he was known to frequent.
Yes, all right, I'll give them to you. Where do you suppose he is?
Where's your husband now, Miss Johnson?
At work. George works for the city. He's a fireman.
What house is he stationed at?
Engine Company 12. He's working the 8th platoon. He'll be home tomorrow morning. I haven't told him Stanley's gone.
Well, is there any chance that the boy might be down at the firehouse with his father?
No, he seldom goes down there anymore. No, I don't think he's there. I'm awfully worried. May I call my husband?
Well, certainly. Go right ahead.
I know George will be worried. Engine Company 12, please. Stanley's been gone too long. Hello? May I please speak with George Johnstone? This is Mrs. Johnstone. Thank you. Oh, I hate to call George at his work.
Yes, ma'am.
Does your husband own a gun?
Yes, he does.
What caliber, do you know?
It's a .45 automatic. He got a knife. George? This is Ruth. George, is Stanley down there with you by any chance? Oh. No, I can't find him anywhere. He wasn't here when I came home from doing my shopping. There are 2 policemen here. No, I said there are 2 policemen here. No, dear, I'll call you if we don't find him soon. All right, dear. Yes, you too. Goodbye. I didn't think he'd be with George.
A .45, is that the only gun in the household?
Yes. Why are you asking about guns? Has anything happened that you're not telling me about?
No, ma'am, just routine checking. We'll have to take a look at that .45 if you don't mind.
Maybe I should tell you we do have another gun in the house, but it's all wrapped up. George bought it for Stanley's Christmas present.
What if we could see it, please?
Yes, well, will you have to unwrap it?
Yes, ma'am, I'm afraid so.
It's in the closet. I think I can reach it. They had to hide it. Let me see. Well, here's a paper it was wrapped in. Stanley must have found it. It's gone. You see, here's the gift card and the box the gun came in, the rifle.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if I could look at that box, ma'am. Thank you.
How about it, Joe?
.22 caliber. Thursday, December 22nd, 5:15 p.m. It was getting dark. The search for the missing boy continued. We checked the list of Stanley Johnstone's friends. None of them or their parents had any idea of his whereabouts. We talked with Levinson again. He'd been in touch with the detail combing the neighborhood. They'd found nothing. We went down to Collis Avenue and 10th Street, service station on the corner.
One nickel, Joe?
Oh, I got one. Will you watch the fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
City Hall?
2667, please.
2667?
Crime Lab, Jones.
Hi, Lee. Joe Friday.
Yeah, Joe. Any sign of the Johnson kid?
No, not yet. How are you coming?
Finished the precipitant test. It's human blood.
Yeah?
Working on the blood group now. Do you know what type the Johnson boy has?
Well, I didn't want to upset his mother. Thought I'd wait till the last thing. We're in the neighborhood.
Check with the family physician. That way you won't disturb her.
Yeah, I figured on that. Just a minute, Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Lost is pulled up.
Okay. Thad Brown's out here now. I'll check you later, Lee, huh?
All right, Joe.
Right, bye.
All right.
Oh, here's what, Jim. Gentlemen, how's it going?
We just checked with Lee Jones.
Yeah, I know. It's human blood. What do you think?
We talked with the boy's mother, Mrs. Johnstone, found a gun missing.
Yeah?
Caliber's the same as the empty casing Levinson found. It's 22.
You said the gun was missing?
Yeah, the Johnstones were going to give it to the boys a Christmas present. They had it hidden, but it's gone.
Any idea who took it?
Well, they left the Christmas wrapping behind. I think it was the kid.
22 rifle, huh? 9-year-old boy. When are they going to learn? First, it's carbide cannons on the 4th of July. The city issued ordinance after ordinance. A few thousand kids around the country had to lose their eyes, fingers, hands before their parents would give us their full cooperation to outlaw them.
I know what you mean.
Sure you do. You and every other cop in the country became the heavies trying to clamp down on them. It's always the same story. This time it's guns for Christmas.
Well, I know what you're thinking, but we're not sure yet.
Listen, Friday. There's a city ordinance against giving a gun to a kid. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
There's a missing boy and a missing gun. There's blood on the ground and an empty shell. That's enough for me.
Yeah, we're going to stay with it. Something's got to break.
Yeah? I hope it's not the hearts of that kid's parents.
Hi, Chief. Been looking for you, Friday.
What do you got, Harry?
Found the gun. New 22 rifle. I'd say it's been fired recently.
Where'd you find it, Levinson?
Back up there in that scrub oak behind the Johnstone house. Mrs. Johnstone identified it. Buckley took it down to the crime lab.
Thanks, Harry. Miss Johnstone okay?
Pretty sick now. Doherty came up with something else.
What's that?
There's another one missing. An 8-year-old boy.
6:30 p.m. We talked with Officer Doherty about the other missing boy. He told us that his name was Stephen Moorheim, 8 years old. His family had just moved into the neighborhood. It seemed that no one besides the Moorheim family knew that the boys played together. Mrs. Moorheim told us that Stephen told her that he was going out to play and he'd be home by 6 o'clock for dinner. She told us that he was an unusually prompt boy and almost never overstayed his playtime. We got a description of the Moorheim boy and put out a missing broadcast. We called the Johnstones' family doctor. He told us that Stanley's blood was type O. At 7 p.m., we talked again with Mrs. John Moorheim.
Are you sure Mrs. Johnstone doesn't know where the boys are?
She has no idea, Mrs. Moorheim.
Oh, this is terrible. Just awful. I feel there's more to this thing, something you're not telling me.
Well, there's no use to upset you until we know a few things for sure.
And you're holding back something.
Well, now, please try not to worry, Miss Moorheim. There are certain things that we're going to have to ask you, routine questions in any kind of investigation.
Is there anything else you want to know?
Yes, ma'am. What is your boy's blood type?
It's a funny question. Do you think anything's happened to him? Have you found him and you're not telling me?
No, ma'am, we haven't found him, and we don't think anything's happened to him.
His blood type?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think I have it written down in Stevie's baby book. Yes, here it is. It's type O.
Thank you. I wonder if I might use your phone?
Yes, of course, it's in the hall.
I'll be right back, Ben.
Okay.
City Hall.
2667, please.
2667?
Crime Lab, thank you.
Hello, Ray. This is Joe Friday. Is Lee there?
Just a minute, Joe.
Take two, Lee. Jones speaking.
Checking back, Lee.
Did you get the blood types on the two missing boys?
Yeah, both type O.
So were the stains, Joe. Type O.
You are listening to Dragnet for the solution to an actual case from official police files. Now, here's a real solution to many of your Christmas shopping problems.
If your friends smoke long cigarettes, give the best of long cigarettes. Give king-size Fatima.
You see, Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but in Fatima, the difference is quality.
Quality of tobaccos. The finest Turkish and domestic varieties, extra mild and superbly blended, to give smokers a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, plump cigarettes rolled in the finest paper money can buy.
Quality. Even to the appearance of the distinctive royal blue Fatima gift carton. Christmas wrapped and carefully sealed to ensure Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
Remember, Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes. But in Fatima, the difference is quality.
So this Christmas, give your friends the best. Give Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes.
8 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. Still no sign of either of the missing boys. Chief of Detectives Thad Brown went back to headquarters to direct the search from there. He dispatched another detail of 50 men to aid in the hunt for the missing youngsters. 8:30 p.m. It was getting colder. The citrus growers were warned to expect a freeze. We went up the block to see Mrs. Johnstone. Her husband had quit work early and returned home. We talked with him. He could tell us nothing more than we already knew. We still had not informed either of the families about the bloodstains in the empty cartridge casing, which had been discovered in the backyard of the Johnstone home. It was more than possible that they had a right to know about our findings, but Ben and I felt there was no cause to add to the distress of the two families at this time. If the two missing boys were found alive and well, then the bloodstains in the cartridge would be of no concern to the relieved parents. At 8:40 p.m., Ben and I left the Johnstone house and went to the home of Mr. and Mrs. John Moorheim.
Miss Moorheim, you said your husband worked at a market?
Yes, he telephoned about 15 minutes ago, said he was closing up right away. He'll be here any minute. Do wish Stevie would call, come home. It's so cold out tonight. All he had on was a thin cotton jacket.
We'll try not to worry. We're doing everything we can. He'll be all right.
Stevie's father's such a sensitive man. He and the boy are so close. I know he's terribly upset.
Now, you're sure there's no place that you might have forgotten, someplace where the boy might be?
No place. No. If anything's happened to the boy, it'll just kill John.
No.
You sit still. I'll get it, Miss Moorheim.
Joe?
Yeah, Harry.
The Johnstone kid, he's been found.
He's home, Sergeant. He's come home. Thank God he's all right.
Where's he been? Did he tell you?
No, he didn't. His clothes are all dirty and he's acting strange. I've never seen him like this.
How do you mean, Miss Johnston?
Well, he just came to the front door and said, "Hello, Mom." And he sat down in a chair and stared at the floor. Won't talk to his father or me.
You mind if I talk to him?
No, go ahead. I asked him about the little Moorheim boy, but he wouldn't tell me a thing.
Where is he now?
Right over there in the living room.
Looks all right.
Yes. Son, this is a police officer. He wants to talk to you. Don't be afraid, dear. He only wants to ask you some questions. Son. You see, Sergeant?
Stanley, look at me, son. Come on, youngster. Get your head up there. That's better. You had your mother pretty worried, you know that. You want to tell us where you've been?
We should try to get him to eat a little something.
You hear that, son? Want something to eat? Stanley, there's another little boy up the street who hasn't come home. You know where he is? His father and mother are worried about him, too. Just like your folks were. We're going to ask you to help us find him.
I killed him. I killed Steve with the .22. We were only playing, but I killed him.
How do you know you killed him? Maybe he's only hurt now, isn't that it?
No, he's dead. I know he's dead. The gun went off. I forgot we put bullets in there.
Where is he, Stanley?
I hid him. I was scared. I didn't want anybody to find him.
Where did you hide him, son?
In a cave up on the hill. I didn't mean it. He was my pal.
Do you want to show us where, Stanley?
Yes, I'll show you. Please, don't send me to jail.
"9:15 p.m., Thursday, December 22nd. 9-year-old Stanley Johnstone led the way up the hill behind the backyard of his home. He showed us the wagon he moved the body in. His father came along with us. About 50 feet from the crest of the hill, the boy pointed to a thicket of scrub oak. There we found a small cave holding the body of Stephen Morheim. There was a single bullet wound in his chest just below his heart. He was dead. We covered the body.
Stanley, how did it happen?
I knew my folks were going to give me the gun for Christmas. I knew where it was, and I got it. There was a box of bullets with it.
Were you pointing the gun at Stevenson?
No, sir. No, sir, I wasn't. It was Steve's turn to play with it. I was chasing him. He tripped over that stump there, and he fell. Gun hit him in the stomach, and it went off.
Well, why do you think you killed him if you're telling us the truth?
I'm telling the truth. Honest, that's the truth.
Well, I believe you, son, but why do you think you killed him?
It was my gun. Stevie'd still be alive if I didn't go and get it. Should have waited till Christmas. It's all my fault.
Well, where have you been all this time?
In the cave with Steve.
Well, what were you doing in there, son?
I was praying. I was praying for God to make him alive again.
After a thorough investigation, Ben and I were convinced that the shooting of Stephen Morheim was accidental. Lieutenant Lee Jones' findings substantiated the Johnstone boy's story even to the smallest detail. We put in a call to the coroner's office and acquainted him with the facts. He designated a local mortuary to handle the body pending autopsy and granted us permission to remove the body to the Morheim home. Mrs. Morheim collapsed. The family doctor was called. Ben and I sat in the living room to wait for John Morheim, the dead boy's father.
Edith? Edith?
Mr. Morheim?
Yeah, you the police?
Yes.
Well, where's Edith? Where's my wife? Has my boy come home? Have you found him?
Yes, sir.
Well, where is he? Steve? Stevie? Where's Steve? He's hurt, isn't he?
Yes, sir, he is.
Well, where is he? I want to see him.
He's hurt bad, Mr. Morheim.
Where is he? I want to see him. How bad?
Pretty bad.
He's dead. All right if I go in?
Yes, sir, if you want to.
Will you go with me?
Sure. Don't make it any harder on yourself, Mr. Morheim.
I want to see my boy.
Mr. Morheim.
Listen to me, son. We got you a lot of nice things for Christmas. Everything you wanted. I got you the 3 new cars for the train. That one with a searchlight on it really works, son. I got you that new switch you wanted. A lot more track. Oh, now you can have a big layout. And you know that new baseball mitt we saw? I got it for you. The cowboy outfit you want. I got it.
Mr. Morheim. Come on, you.
What happened?
It was an accident. He was playing with a Johnstone boy up the street. Playing with a gun. It went off.
What was the other boy's name?
Stanley Johnstone. It was an accident.
Mr. Morheim, where are you going?
I want to see that boy.
We had no idea what the dead boy's father had in mind. We didn't feel that we should try to restrain him. We went along with him up the street to the Johnstone home.
I'm Stevie's father. Where's your boy?
I'm sorry. We bought the rifle. We were going to tell him not to use it unless his father was with him until he learned how to treat firearms.
Where's your boy?
Right here. Won't you come in?
It's all right, Miss Johnson.
You're the boy that was with Stevie?
Yes, sir.
What's your name?
Stanley.
I know it wasn't your fault, Stanley. Wonder if you'd do something for me.
Yes, sir.
I've got a lot of nice presents for Stevie. I know he'd want you to have them. I want to give them to you Christmas Eve.
Mom?
I think that'd be a fine idea, son.
Come on, Ben.
Well, what's it all prove, Joe?
You don't give a kid a gun for Christmas.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 24th, 1948, a coroner's inquest was held in the county morgue, city and county of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that inquest.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. To get year-round thanks for the gift you give this Christmas, give cartons of Fatimas to every long cigarette smoker on your list. Christmas Fatimas in the special royal blue slip-over jacket make a perfect gift just as is. And to my friends who sell Fatimas, the retail dealers and the wholesale distributors all over America, to each one of you, a special season's greeting. And to everyone, a Merry Christmas.
At the coroner's inquest, it was officially recorded that Stephen Morheim's death was the result of an accident. Stanley Johnstone was absolved of any legal responsibility for his friend's death. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
This is Bob Hope. Can we steal a second?
Chesterfield always wins first place. That milder, mild tobacco never leaves an aftertaste.
So open a pack, give 'em a smell.
Then you smoke 'em.
Don't forget to give Crosby for Christmas. I mean the Chesterfield Christmas carton with Bing as Papa Santa Claus. See you Tuesday.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portions transcribed from Los Angeles.
We the People is next with more Good Times on NBC.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Detective, brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic, the non-alcoholic hair tonic that contains lanolin. Wild Root Cream Oil, again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first.
Sam Spade Detective Agency.
Me, sweetheart.
Sam, how did it go?
It was the end, Effie, but the end.
Oh, Sam, not another one of those society things.
Depends on what you mean by society.
Well, you know, Sam, cafe society. Cocktails for two, hands across the table. Make it another old-fashioned, please.
Let's not lose our head, Effie. Nothing but double martinis, very dry, with 2 olives, sweetheart.
2 olives? Oh, Sam, isn't that overdoing it?
It was all overdone, sweetheart. That's what cranked it. Now, stay right where you are. I'll be right down to mix up my report on the Dry Martini Caper. Get it?
Dashiell Hammett, America's leading detective fiction writer and creator of Sam Spade, the hard-boiled private eye, and William Spear, radio's outstanding producer-director of mystery and crime drama, join their talent to make your hair stand on end with the adventures of Sam Spade. Presented by the makers of Wild Root Cream Oil for the hair. August is always a great vacation month. And for those of you planning to take your vacation soon, let me suggest that when you're packing, be sure you include a bottle and a handy tube of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. For no matter where you go, you can always depend on Wild Root Cream Oil to groom your hair neatly and naturally, relieve dryness, and remove loose dandruff. Yes, you can take it with you on your vacation, and you should. Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. And now, with Howard Duff starring as Spade, Wild Root brings to the air the greatest private detective of them all in The Adventures of Sam Spade.
You look sober as an owl.
Wise as an owl, sober as a judge, F.
Oh. Well, the way you talked on the phone, I thought you drowned the shamrock, kissed the Black Betty, spliced the main brace, decorated the mahogany, made a Dutch bargain, or, in a word, gone to give a Chinaman a music lesson.
Effie, I wish you'd spend more time with Harper's Bazaar while I'm gone and less with the thesaurus of slang.
Ah.
Didn't know I could say that. Are you sober?
Well, I've been riding the choo-choo, drinking Adam's ale. And if you don't believe it, just ask me to walk for chalk.
Okay, here's me toesy. Arms akimbo, eyes glazed.
Yes, sir.
Now then, tip of the forefinger to the tip of the nose.
Oh, Sam, it makes me dizzy.
Dizzy Gillespie?
Dizzy go. Oh, Sam.
Exactly. And you are not sewn up, shagged, shellacked, shickered, stuccoed, tap-shackled, stiffo, or real crazy.
Well, you know best, Sam.
Good. Now try this one.
Yes, Prez.
Sitting posture, limbs cruciform.
What?
Cheesecake stop.
Oh, Sam.
That's it. Now place the notebook. Just a little higher. Good. Now apply the tip of the pencil to the top of the fool's cap and proceed viz.
Viz.
Date. August 1st, 1948. To Mrs. Netta Martini, 1000 Marina Boulevard, San Francisco. From Samuel Spade, license number 127596. Subject, Dear Netta. The first I knew of the caper was day before yesterday morning when I saw your husband's picture in the paper. It was one of those lovingly retouched executive-type photographs of a man in his late 40s or early 50s, graying at the temples and wearing an embalmed man of distinction look. The story was headlined, Corporation Head Waylaid by Mysterious Assailant. Chauffeur foils would-be kidnappers at offices of Martini Trading Company. The item under it wasn't as thrilling as the headline. Sounded as if he'd been knocked down for his wallet and the attempted kidnapping had been dreamed up by a bored city news reporter. I tossed it in the wastebasket along with my morning mail and went back to the Police Gazette. On page 3, the phone rang. Unique Garage, Harry speaking. Mrs. Spade? One moment. Who's calling? Gordon Martini. Not Gordon Martini, the corporation head, waylaid by mysterious assailant. Chairman of the board, and there's nothing mysterious about it. Then what are you doing on this phone? I can't talk on the phone. Where are you? In a hospital? I left that pest house this morning. I'm at my residence, 1000 Marina Boulevard. Mm-hmm. It will take you exactly 20 minutes by cab. You will meet me in front of the building, and we'll have our conference in my car en route to the office. Where's your office? Downtown Post Street. Oh, why don't I meet you there? I'm a busy man. I have a full calendar. I'm already late due to all that hospital red tape. But I can fit you into my schedule if you'll hurry. Now, look alive, man.
Well, it's a little early in the morning, but I'm trying on.
Good. What will you want for a retainer?
I'll let you know if I decide to take the job.
Fair enough. 20 minutes. I'll expect you.
I should have looked more alive. It took me 2 minutes to get out of the street, 1 minute to flag down a cab, and 18 minutes to reach your address, Netta. A total of 21 minutes. As my taxi drew up to the curb in front of the canopied entrance to the corner apartment house at 1000 Marina, I saw your husband pacing indignantly up and down in front of the entrance, pausing only to glare at the outsized chronometer on his left wrist. His gray Homburg was perched atop an outsized turban of gauze bandage that decorated his head.
You're Spade. You're exactly 1 minute and 22 seconds late. Hours are made of minutes, minutes are made of seconds. In killing this seemingly negligible interval of time, you have wounded an hour.
Oh, I have? Well, I'm sorry. The traffic's pretty heavy out here this hour of the morning, you know.
You should have started 1 minute and 22 seconds earlier.
I'm sorry there was a bore on the telephone, kept talking about how valuable his time was.
Yeah, well, don't apologize. Only waste more time. Now, here's your check, $100. My car's just around the corner. I paid that chauffeur a large salary. We mustn't keep him waiting. In the meantime, you may as well start earning your fee.
I've been earning it for the past 22 minutes and 22 seconds.
Right. I suspected as much. You drive a car?
Yeah, you mean one man drives all that?
I see him, that rascally chauffeur of mine. Sleep in the back seat. All right, come out of there, you. Hey, what?
I was behind him and a little to the right. The shock of the rapid-fire 30-caliber slugs lifted him off his feet and knocked him against me. I went down under his 300 pounds of dead weight. By the time I rolled him off of me and got up, the gunman had jumped out of the limousine and into a gray sedan that was double parked alongside. In the welter of traffic on the boulevard, I didn't dare risk throwing a shot after him, but I did get the first 3 numbers of the license plate before it buried itself in the heavy stream of AM commuters. That's when the air changed from exhaust fumes to something out of a Persian garden. I turned and looked for the first time into your Nile green eyes, Netta, and saw you twisting a handkerchief in your pale hands I might have loved beside the Shalimar, but on Marina Boulevard they looked like hysterics dead ahead.
Who did it? You saw him. Don't lie to me. Why don't they come with me? All those people standing around there staring at me. Make them go away. Make them go away. I can't stand it.
Stop it, will you? That's better. Now, come on over here. Who are you, his wife?
Yes, and it was all my fault. This is the end. I called Ernie out the window and asked him to come upstairs. I wanted him to return some lingerie. They sent the wrong color, Pete.
Yeah. Who's Ernie?
He's our chauffeur. I was looking for the exchange slip when we heard the shots. Is he dead this time?
Yeah, don't go to pieces.
Poor Gordon, he had so many enemies. He didn't drink well, you know. People dropped us like flies.
Well, they certainly dropped your husband.
Are you a policeman?
No, but I'll do until the real thing comes along, which is right now. If I were you, lady, I'd go back upstairs and relax. They'll get to you soon enough.
Yes, I suppose you're right. Poor Gordon, he looks so natural stretched out on the pavement.
Yeah.
I keep thinking he'll get up and stagger on into the elevator. He didn't drink at all well.
Go on, will you?
All right, I'm going. Oh, Ernie, where did you go?
Down at the garage. I heard a car driving. Poor Mr. Martini. It's all my fault.
No, Ernie, it's mine. If I only hadn't mislaid that exchange slip.
What?
You know, when I called you out the window to come and get that package.
Oh, that.
What do we got here? Who's the witness?
Me.
Oh, Spade. Lost another client, huh?
Not quite. I hadn't cashed the check yet.
Well, they got him anyway. All right, pull a spacer there. Let him through with that stretcher.
All right,
Step over here out of the crowd, Sam. I want to get that statement.
Yeah.
All right, out of the way, please.
Okay, Gary, take it down.
Got a pencil?
Yeah, and I want it back.
Let's have it.
This guy is Gordon Martini. He headed up a local firm, the Martini Trading Company. Last night he was working late at his office. Got boinged.
All right.
Phoned me this morning. Didn't know why. Thought maybe he wanted a bodyguard. Anyway, he needed one. Gunman was crouched in the back seat of the limousine, shoved the carbine out when Martini opened the door.
Carbine.
Didn't get a good look at him. You can see why, the way it's closed there. No side windows.
Foreign car, isn't it?
Stop drooling. You can't afford one. You getting all this?
What about the getaway?
Martini fell on top of me. I saw the getaway car in the back of his head.
Yeah.
The car was a gray sedan. The back of his head was a standard make, too. Only got the first 3 digits of license plate, 5D9.
5D9. Anything else?
Yeah, give me back my pencil. The homicide boys want some help. They know my fee.
Mr. Spade.
This is Martini. Why aren't you and Ernie upstairs getting your alibis shaped up?
Oh, please, I can't face the questions just yet. Would it be legal if I just avoided them till I can collect myself?
I don't know about legal, but it might be smart.
Where can we talk?
What do you suggest?
Well, there's a little cocktail lounge up on Lombard where Ernie and I it's just around the corner.
Very handy. Let's go.
Against my mother's advice, I should have listened, but, well, that's why I married Mr. Martini.
Well, that brings us up to 1943, and it's only 11:45.
You're just like him, always holding a stopwatch over my head.
Always?
Well, he drank, you know.
You told me that.
But it's much more important than you think. He often fell down and bumped his head.
You mean that mysterious assailant that waylaid him last night in his office was a double Martini?
2 pitchers full before dinner.
Sure.
And he had to carry him up to his office.
Well, what did he go up there for?
Oh, we had an appointment with the vice president of the firm, Mr. Nesbitt. Something had come up, and he wanted Gordon to sign some papers. I don't know what. It wasn't the first time. I waited outside in the car. After Ernie had taken him upstairs, he came back to the car and we talked.
Ernie has alibis upstairs, downstairs, and all around the house.
Well, then when the others came out and Gordon didn't, Ernie went upstairs to see why.
Others? Mr. Nesbitt and who else?
Mary Callahan.
Secretary?
No, she's an attorney. And if you think everything was legal between those two, well, but after all, who am I to call the kettle black?
Now, what are you trying to tell me? That you got him drunk so they could make him sign some papers? That he got himself drunk so he couldn't write his name? Or that he just got drunk and fell down?
Between you and me, I think she pushed him down a flight of stairs. In his condition, he never remembered.
Why are you putting the finger on the Callahan dame?
Well, what would you think? She was the last one out of the building.
Why didn't you want to tell all this to the police?
Well, I didn't want to talk about his drinking. Things were bad enough already. That would have been the end.
Well, that's as good an answer as any. What do you want me to do for you?
Prove that she did it and Ernie didn't.
I'll let you take care of Ernie.
Oh, no. I don't want to alibi him unless I have to. He might get the wrong idea.
You mean I've got the wrong idea?
He might think it meant I still care for him, and I don't. I can't stand him anymore. The way he chews those toothpicks. And besides, if his alibi is too good, I might have trouble about that carbine in the backseat of my car.
Pardon me, it sounded as if you said you might have trouble about a carbine in the backseat of your car.
That's what I said.
Where is your car?
In the garage. But somebody had it out this morning. They scraped the fender coming back in, and they ran into the wall. They must have been in an awful hurry.
Tell me, this car of yours, it wouldn't be a gray sedan?
Yes.
License number?
Oh, wait a minute. It's on my key ring. Here, 5D90.
That's enough. Why didn't you tell me this before?
Well, I couldn't get up the nerve. After I heard you tell that policeman the gun that killed Gordon was a carbine, and the gray sedan and all that, well, it's the end.
I hoped you were right, but I didn't think so. When I went to look at the gray sedan in your garage, I knew you were wrong, dead wrong. It was the getaway car, all right, and the carbine, as you know, was proven later to be the one that killed your husband. But Ernie had turned into a very poor suspect indeed. He was hugging the carpet between the front and rear seats, and when I nudged him, he didn't move. He'd been shot at closer range than Gordon Martini, and the killer had used only one slug. It was planted in the base of his brain, which made him not only a very poor suspect, but a very dead one.
The makers of Wild Root Cream Oil are presenting the weekly Sunday adventure of Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, Sam Spade. If you want the well-groomed look that helps you get ahead socially and on the job, listen. Recently, thousands of people from coast to coast who bought Wild Root Cream Oil for the first time were asked, how does Wild Root Cream Oil compare with the hair tonic you previously used? Better than 4 out of 5 who replied said they preferred Wild Root Cream Oil. And no wonder. Wild Root Cream Oil grooms the hair neatly and naturally, relieves annoying dryness, and removes loose dandruff. What's more, non-alcoholic Wild Root Cream Oil is the only leading hair tonic that contains soothing lanolin. So ask for Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. By the way, smart girls use Wild Root Cream Oil, too. And mothers say it's grand for training children's hair. And now, back to the Dry Martini Caper. Tonight's adventure with Sam Spade.
Martini Trading Company, good afternoon. I'm sorry, Mr. Nesbitt is in conference. I'll see that he gets your message. Well, what can I do for you?
I would like to see Miss Callahan.
Miss Callahan is in conference with Mr. Nesbitt.
Good. I would like to see them both.
But I have orders not to disturb them.
You do not have to. I will.
Just a minute. You can't go breaking in like that.
Yes, and I'll tell you something else. He won't ever get away with it. Why, everyone in this town knows about your underworld connection.
Why, you doddering old fool, when I get through with you, if you don't go to the gas chamber for Gordon Martini's murder, you wish you had.
If I go to the gas chamber, it'll be for killing you, not Gordon.
Oh, you said it. Oh, why didn't I have witnesses here?
Miss Callahan?
Oh. Did you hear that?
You weren't talking loud enough. I didn't hear a thing.
Well, come on in here, and I'll tell you a thing or two. Close that door. Now, sit down.
Thanks. I listen better on my feet.
Oh, so you're the detective Netta Martini employed, eh? What's she paying you?
That'll depend on how much I have to do for it.
Well, I'll tell you how much you'll have to do for her. You'll have to make a case against me, and that's not going to be easy.
Why do you think she's out to get you?
Why, indeed. For years, this moth-eaten mouthpiece, this parboiled Portia, has been victimizing poor Gordon, taking advantage of his weakness for drink. Now that she's liquidated him, she appears with 55% of the common stock. Motive enough, eh?
Why, you fraudulent old fool. I simply bought up his debts and threw an attachment on those stocks. Unethical, but perfectly legal.
Look,
Well, you're not even a proper thief. You're nothing but a bumbling old embezzler.
Now, listen
You had
here.
to tell because he was going to call in the auditors to look over those books of yours. The deed of double entry, Mr. Spade.
Look, will you save this for the courtroom scene? Now, you've convinced me. You're both crooked. I'll see that you both go up for something. That's a promise.
Mr. Spade, I gave you credit for better sense. Do you know that this Medusa of the magistrate's court, this harpy of the Hall of Justice, tricked him into changing the beneficiary of his insurance the very night she pushed him down the stairs?
And you were all in favor of it when you thought you held the controlling interest in the company. Answer that. See, Mr. Spade, he can't answer that.
Good. I'm glad one of you is temporarily lost for words. Now, I only want to know one thing, and I want a straight answer. And if either one of you starts off in another speech, I'm going to push you into the nearest cloakroom and lock you in together.
Why, you wouldn't dare.
Try me, sweetheart.
Well, what do you want to know about this Amazon ambulance chaser, this Trilby of the traffic court?
Watch it.
Well, what do you want to know?
About Martini's insurance policy. Now, you say he changed the beneficiary. Please answer in 10 words or less. Who was the beneficiary, and who is the beneficiary now?
I'll have to answer that question in two parts. The beneficiary was his wife. He changed it to the Martini Trading Company, a corporation of the state of California.
Thank you, and goodbye, Mary Callahan. And that nutter took the heat off of you for the time being, which made things tough for me. Because Callahan and Nesbitt were so horrible, I never wanted to see them again, even to testify against them in court. I was sure of one thing. None of you had pulled the trigger of that carbine. There'd been a hired killer behind it, and the way he operated, taking crazy chances in broad daylight in a crowded street, told me an important thing about him. That night, I made the rounds of the joints. At a plant called the Bing Room, I found a bouncer who'd tossed out a customer that run up a bill and tried to pay it with a $1,000 check. He sent me to the Atlas Hotel. The Atlas Hotel is off of 3rd Street down near the railroad yards. Not even a flea bag. The fleas sickened and died a long time ago. They couldn't take it. And from the look of the guests sprawled out in the mission furniture of the lobby, they wouldn't be able to much longer. A half-dead room clerk came back to the land of the living long enough to mutter a room number and wave me feebly toward a flight of crummy stairs.
Yeah, what do you want?
You, Hack Hartman?
Hey, you got anything for me, huh?
Yeah, I got news for you. Get back in the room. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Well, come on in.
Drop the shiv.
Yeah, I'll drop it. I'll fix you. I'll cut you good. I'll cut you.
I'm glad you did that. You make it easy for me. Now get over there.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm not feeling so good.
You can feel a lot worse. Who hired you to put the burn on Martini?
You don't get nothing out of me.
Who gave you that check?
Oh, leave me alone.
I got all night, Hack, and I feel better than you do. Now, what did you do with that check? I'll shake it if your teeth come out with it. Come on.
All right. Stop it. I don't feel so good.
Okay. Where?
Pocket. My shirt.
Don't reach. I'll get it. It was a company check, which is what I'd expected. It was for $1,000 drawn on the Golden Gate Trust and Loan. But I wasn't expecting to find the signature on the bottom line. It was signed in a bold, firm hand, Gordon Martini. Who was the penman on this?
He wrote it himself, right in front of me.
What was it supposed to be for?
He wanted I should knock off his brother.
You get mixed up?
Well, he's dead, ain't he?
That's what I mean. Gordon Martini's dead.
The papers got it wrong. That was his brother, his twin brother. And that other guy, that chauffeur, kept hanging around the garage so I couldn't get out. I had to burn him, too.
You know what you're saying?
Yeah. I'm making sense. Now get out of here. I'm getting steamed.
Don't let it worry you. I got a nice, cool place all picked out for you. After I turned Hack over to the cops, I did what checking I could on my own at that time of night. As nearly as I could learn, Gordon Martini could never have had a brother, twin or otherwise. He was a first child. His mother died in childbirth, and his father died 1 month later. So I went back to the offices of the Martini Trading Company, glass-keyed my way in, and made a quick frisk of it. There I learned that the signature on the check was indeed Gordon's, but that he had closed out his account at that bank the day he wrote it. I thought about that on the way out to your apartment.
Sam, I've been calling and calling, trying to reach you. I've been so worried. It's the end.
This time you might be right. Fix me a drink.
Well, there's nothing in the house but those prepared martinis Gordon used to drink. Is that all right?
No, but fix me one anyway. Never mind the ice. It's not morning yet, but I hate myself already.
Why don't you just relax and let me get it for you?
I'll relax. You get the martinis.
What happened? What'd you think of Mary Callahan? Isn't she the end?
She's cute. You're all cute.
All of me? How nice. I'd put ice in anyway. It's nasty without.
It's nasty anyway.
I hope it doesn't make you fall down the way it did poor Gordon.
Thanks.
What's the matter? Too dry?
You open this bottle fresh?
Why, yes. What's the matter?
Where are they? The rest of the bottles. Oh, yeah. More of the same. Is this all your husband ever drank?
Yes, gallons of it. It's a special brand. He even took it with him to bars and people's houses. He'd sit and drink them right out of the bottle like a little child. Then he'd be falling down drunk, of course. And that's how we lost so many friends. They dropped us like...
Like flies. Yeah, it was the end.
Who are you phoning?
City morgue.
Maxie, Sam Spade.
Sammy, what can I do on you?
On Martini, Maxie. They got around to the autopsy yet?
Yeah, they rushed him through.
Got the report handy?
Right in front of me. Funny thing, Sam. The doc said they should have saved themselves the trouble. He'd have been dead in a week or two without no help.
What from?
Brain tumor. Malignant, it says here.
Any alcohol in him?
None from drinking, Sammy.
What about the head wounds?
Accidental fall due to periodic fainting spells. Part of his condition.
Thanks, Maxie.
Well, what is it, Sam? Was the martinis poison?
No, sweetheart. The martinis were colored water.
Why, they couldn't. Well, what made him get so drunk?
He didn't. He was sick.
But, Sam, who killed him?
Killed himself.
But he couldn't have.
He hired a gunman to do it. He planned his own murder.
But that... What? Well, why didn't he leave a note or something? He could have ruined us all.
Come here, sweetheart. Put your little hand on Uncle Sam's shoulder.
What, Sam?
That's, just what he wanted you to do. He wanted to ruin you. He let Mary Callahan fleece him out of his interest in the company. He let Nesbitt juggle the books. He let you go your way with Ernie. He let all three of you fix yourselves up with as nice a set of motives for murder as a jury could ask for.
It couldn't have.
The real joker was the check he used to pay off the man he hired to kill him. It bounced. It also proved he'd planned his own murder. But he still has his revenge. Because the insurance that would have kept the corporation from going broke won't be paid off on account of the self-liquidating cause.
Oh, Sam, darling, what's going to become of us all?
Well, Callahan and Nesbitt will probably sue each other to death. You might have to go to work and earn a living.
Well, I have $500. I might invest it in something.
You already have. Here's my bill.
But, Sam, you didn't help me. What? This is the end.
No, it isn't, sweetheart. This is the beginning. Come here. Period. End of the end.
Well, you asked me. You helped her.
Now, F.
Well, that just goes to show you.
Show what, F?
Man's ingratitude to man. But what did Mr. Martini have against you?
Why, nothing, sweetheart. He just needed a smart operator like, Johnny Madero was under.
Sam. Have you cashed that check Mr. Martini gave you?
Well, not yet.
Sam, any bartender would know better than to take a check from a man who drinks that much.
F, you haven't been paying attention. He didn't drink. He didn't. I was able to establish that later on. You haven't been listening.
At the time, Sam, for all anybody knew, he was a hopeless drunk. He was, Sam. Oh, you're so wonderful and trusting. But I do wish that you'd understand this. He was a hopeless drunk.
For the last time, Effie, he didn't really drink.
I'll just type this up, Sam, while you call the bank.
I'll do that.
A final reminder, friends. Whether you're going on a long vacation trip or just a weekend to the beach, be sure you've got a bottle and tube of Wild Root Cream Oil tucked away in your suitcase. Do this, and you'll find it's easy and quick to spruce up again after stepping out of the water or off the tennis court. For no matter where or when you use it, Wild Root Cream Oil grooms your hair neatly and naturally, relieves dryness, removes loose dandruff. So at home and away from home, help yourself to handsome hair with Wild Root Cream Oil. And next time you have a chance, ask your barber for a professional application of Wild Root Cream Oil Hair Tonic. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first.
Worth the price of the paper and carbons.
You made carbon copies of that? An unimportant report like that?
Oh, it bounced?
Well, the estate isn't settled yet.
Oh, Sam, you're so wonderful and trusting.
Effie, I am not wonderful and trusting. I am a hard-boiled private eye.
I know. Just a pity there's no money in it.
And I'm also two-fisted.
Sam, have you ever thought of ceramics?
Of what?
Ceramics. It takes virtually no capital. All you need is a small furnace and some clay. And if you don't have any talent, you can just make ashtrays.
Thanks, I already have one.
Oh, flower pots are fun. You can pop them on a wheel.
And you can pot your hat on and wheel on out of here and also take your furnace and clay.
I love you when you're so gay and carefree.
I am not gay and carefree.
You are a hard-boiled private eye.
Good night and sue me for your back salary, sweetheart.
The Adventures of Sam Spade, Dashiell Hammett's famous private detective, are produced and directed by William Spear. Sam Spade is played by Howard Duff. Lorene Tuttle is Effie. The Adventures of Sam Spade are written for radio by Bob Tallman and Gil Dowd, with musical direction by Lud Gluskin. Gil Dowd directed tonight's broadcast in William Spear's absence. Join us again next Sunday for another adventure with Sam Spade, brought to you by Wild Root Cream Oil. Again and again, the choice of men who put good grooming first. This is Dick Joy reminding you to
get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. It keeps your hair in trim. You see, it's non-alcoholic, Charlie. It's made with lanolin. You better get Wild Root Cream Oil, Charlie. Start using it today. You'll find that you will have a tough time, Charlie. Keeping all the gals away. Hiya, Baldy. Get Wild Root right away.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a missing persons detail. A wealthy businessman in your city drops from sight. There's no trace of him. There's no apparent reason for his disappearance. Your job, find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Saturday, February 6th. It was foggy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of missing persons. My partner is Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from communications, and it was 8:15 a.m. when I got to room 67A. Missing persons.
Hello, Joe.
Oh, hi, Vance.
How you coming on the Jack case?
Oh, nothing. It's a dead end so far.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Joe?
Yeah, Ben.
Just got a call from Evans, Harbor Division. They found Jarrett's car.
Where?
Parked at the end of Pier 6, abandoned. Found it about 7 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, they checked the car over?
Mm-hmm. They found Jarrett's coat in the front seat. Letter in the pocket.
Yeah?
Suicide note.
John Keith Jarrett was a prominent and prosperous man. He was a well-known civic figure and socialite. As a young man, he'd inherited a moderately successful business from his father, and over a period of 20 years built it into $1 million concern. He was apparently happily married to an attractive woman, and he was the father of 2 grown children, a son, Keith, age 26, and a daughter, Evelyn, age 23. According to his friends, business associates, employees, and advisors, there was no logical reason for Jarrett taking his own life. The letter, found in the abandoned car on Pier 6, was brought downtown and the handwriting checked. It matched perfectly with the other specimens of Jarrett's writing. There was no sign of the gun which Jarrett was supposed to have carried. 9:35 a.m. Ben and I drove down to San Pedro, boarded police boat number 1, and joined with officers Brett, Hanby, and Tretter in a 2-hour search of the area around Pier 6. We found nothing. 11:40 a.m. The launch headed back for the dock.
I can't make it out. Not a trace.
Well, it might take a little time. Pretty fair chance that the tide swept the body out of the area. It'd still turn up.
This fog's not helping much.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just ornery this morning, Joe. I sure can't buy this thing the way it stands.
I'll put in with you there.
Jarrett disappears Thursday night after work. His car doesn't turn up till this morning. If he made up his mind to jump off the pier, why'd you stall around an extra day and a half?
I don't know.
How about Miss Jarrett? When's she due back?
She's flying in late tonight from Sacramento. We can check her in the morning.
Now, looks like we're just about in.
Yeah. Well, the crime lab ought to be through checking the car, huh?
Yeah, just about, yeah. These boys on PD1 sure can handle this thing, can't they?
Sure can. Well, I'm going to call in from the phone on the dock. You want to stand by here a minute?
Okay, watch your step there, Joe Slippery.
Yeah, all right. Michigan 5211, please. All right. Crime lab, please. Hi, Lee. Joe Friday. Did you look over that car? Mm-hmm. Where? Oh. Yeah, we'll check with you. Right, thanks.
How'd they do, Joe? Anything?
Jarrett's gun. The crime lab boys finally found it.
Where?
In his car. It was hidden up under the dashboard.
Yeah?
Gun's been fired recently. 2 empty shells. How the recovered gun might tie in with Jarrett's disappearance and the suicide note, we had no idea. When the car was found abandoned at the end of Pier 6, the obvious guess was that Jarrett had taken his life by drowning. If that was the case, what accounted for the 2 shells in his gun? Why was it carefully hidden under the dashboard of the car after it was used? Why were the only fingerprints on it those of Jarrett? Together with Sergeant John Epperson, Ben and I spent the rest of the day interviewing the friends and business associates of the missing man. The answers were the same. Not one of them could think of a good reason why Jarrett would take his life. More than half of them thought that he'd met with some kind of foul play. Late that night, Mrs. Jarrett arrived back in the city. The next morning, Sunday, Ben and I drove out to the mansion in Bel Air to talk to her. She was a pale, middle-aged woman. There was a strong smell of liquor on her breath.
I was just fixing these flowers. Not very good to keep them out of water very long, you know.
Yes, ma'am. You go right ahead with it.
Would you for some brandy or something?
No, thank you.
Something else?
No, I'd thank you.
I think I might stand a little brandy. Helps sometimes in the morning. Sergeant, I'd like to have you tell me the truth. What do you think has happened to my husband?
Well, that's just what we're trying to find out, Miss Jarrett. All we have to go on is that letter that we found in his car.
Oh. I can't believe there's anything in that. Jack and I have been married 31 years. He'd never take his own life. I know him that well.
The letter was in his handwriting, ma'am. We've confirmed that.
Yeah, that's why I say it's so confusing. Look. Isn't that a gorgeous rose? Rose scarlet, they call it. That's gorgeous.
Yes, ma'am.
Would it be possible for us to talk to your son and daughter, Miss Jarrett? It's just a routine investigation.
Well, I'd rather not have Keith or Evelyn brought into this, if you don't mind. Are you sure you wouldn't care for some brandy?
No, thank you.
Thank you. I don't mean to sound arbitrary, ma'am, but this case isn't exactly trivial, and I'm afraid that your son and daughter will have to be brought into it sooner or later.
Well, Can't be helped, I guess. If you like, I'll give you their addresses. Keith lives in Hollywood, and my daughter Evelyn has an apartment near Malibu.
He's the one married?
They're both single now. Evelyn's been divorced.
Mm-hmm. Any trouble between you and your husband? I mean, any recent arguments? Yeah?
Not recent, no. We didn't get along too well, that's all.
When you don't think any family trouble could account for Mr. Jarrett's disappearance, huh?
I don't think so. Jack and I rarely argued. We didn't get along, that's all. It was no worse last week than it was 10 years ago. Oh, he has his work. I have my interests. Worked out as well as a lot of marriages, I guess. I'd better get on with these flowers.
No offense intended, ma'am, but you don't seem too disturbed by what's happened. Suicide note and all?
No. I guess I don't.
You don't think this marriage trouble that you mentioned a little while ago could lead to your husband's suicide?
I didn't mean that much to Jack. Good or bad, his family never meant that much to him.
Oh?
It was always the company, business, making money. We never worked out. Jack didn't care about having a real family. It didn't mean that much to him. He wrecked everything I ever wanted. I won't bore you with the story.
Do you know of any business troubles that might have upset him?
No. Jack never discussed business with me. He had his own interests. The children had their own interests. I guess I have mine.
Ma'am?
I drink, Sergeant. It's something to do. I drink every day in the week. I drink quite a bit. It's only been since the children left. I blame them. Jack didn't care. Guess I don't care myself anymore. We never were a family.
Do you know if your husband's seen your son or daughter recently?
No, he never visits them. He never had anything in common with them.
And you still don't think that this trouble has any connection with what might have happened to Mr. Jarrett?
Maybe. I don't think so. Doesn't seem to matter that much to me.
How do you mean?
It doesn't matter, Sergeant. I don't hate Jack. I don't love him.
Yeah.
I just don't care, that's all.
Before we left the Bel Air mansion, we got the addresses of the son and daughter and over Miss Jarrett's room. No leads. 1 p.m., Ben and I drove down to Malibu to interview the daughter, Evelyn Jarrett. She lived in a small, modernistic cottage bordering on the beach. She was attractive and well-dressed. At the age of 23, she'd been twice married and twice divorced. She sat on the sofa filing her fingernails while we talked to her.
I don't mean to be rude, Sergeant. I have a date at 2:30. I don't want to be late.
We'll try to make it as quick as possible, Miss Jarrett. We talked to your mother this morning. She told us you haven't seen too much of your father the last 2 years.
Yes, that's right. None of us were ever really close to him.
Well, when's the last time that you saw your father, Miss Jarrett?
Well, up until last Thursday night, I hadn't seen him for about 5 months, I guess.
Oh, you saw your father last Thursday night, was it?
Yes, he called me that afternoon, said he wanted to have dinner with me and my brother Keith.
Did you have dinner with him?
Yes, a little Spanish place out on Melrose. Keith was late as usual.
Wasn't that pretty unusual for your father, having you and your brother get together with him for dinner?
Well, it didn't happen very often. Mother probably told you about that.
Well, how did he seem that night? Did you notice anything unusual about him?
No, he was pretty much the same as always. Asked Keith and me how we were getting along, if we needed any money.
He didn't mention anything about leaving the city, going on a trip, maybe?
No, he didn't. We had dinner, a few drinks, then I left.
What time was that, Miss Jarrett?
A little after midnight, I think. Well, Keith and my father stayed on. They said they were going to have a few more drinks.
I see.
Care for a cigarette?
No,
thank you very much.
Here you are, I've got it.
Thank you.
How was your father when you left him, Miss Jarrett? In pretty good mood?
Oh, he and Keith were arguing as usual. After a few drinks, they always argue.
Anything serious?
I don't know. Keith had some debts. He wanted Dad to pay them off. There's one thing I'd like to ask you, Sergeant.
Yeah.
I read the story in the paper, that gun you found in my father's car. Was it an inflated revolver, a .32?
Yes, that's right. There were 2 shells fired.
Funny. Dad hasn't had that gun for a year. Reason I know is because after my divorce, I moved into this place alone. I thought it'd be a good idea to have a gun around, so I asked my father for his.
Yeah?
He told me he'd given it away already. He didn't have any more use for it.
Who'd he give it to, do you know?
Told me he gave it to my brother Keith. That was almost a year ago.
Oh?
It must be a mistake. If Keith had the gun, how could they find it in my father's car?
Well, maybe Keith can tell us. The soon as we left Evelyn Jarrett, we drove to a public phone booth, and Ben put in a call to the Green Castle Apartments in Beverly Hills, where Keith Jarrett was living. There was no answer. Ben called the manager of the apartment.
Yes, sir. How's that? Mm-hmm. When did you say? I see. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Maybe we got something.
What's that?
Jarrett's son doesn't live there anymore. Manager says he moved in a hurry.
Yeah, when?
Thursday night.
You are listening to Dragnet.
Sunday, February 7th, 4 p.m. Ben and I drove to the apartment vacated by Keith Jarrett and checked it over. No leads. We called Mrs. Jarrett and her daughter Evelyn. They had no idea of Keith's whereabouts. Mrs. Jarrett suggested that we call a fashionable tennis club out in Hollywood to which her son belonged. There they told us that Keith Jarrett was scheduled to play in a tournament match on their courts the following morning. Monday, February 8th, 10:30 a.m. We checked in at the tennis club.
Joe, I talked to the man at the desk.
Yeah?
He said Jarrett's around here someplace. He's having a boy paging. He'll send him over to her.
Okay. Wonder if this is where he moved after he left the apartment.
No, I talked to the clerk at the desk. They don't have living quarters here. And that's sure a beautiful stretch of lawn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonder if they have any trouble with gopher. Nice shot.
My name's Jarrett. You gentlemen looking for me?
Oh, yeah. We're police officers, Jarrett. We'd like to talk to you a few minutes if you don't mind.
No, not at all. Got a match coming up. Yeah, I got time. What can I do for you?
It's about your father, Jarrett. We've been assigned to the case. Thought you might be able to help us out.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you anything I know. Figure suicide. Kind of unusual. We haven't spent much time together the last couple of years. My father and I didn't get along too well.
How did he seem to you Thursday night, all right?
Yeah, pretty much the same as always. We ate, had a few drinks. That was about the size of it.
What time did you leave the restaurant, you remember?
Oh, 1:30, I guess.
Did your father leave with you?
Yeah, that's right. We drove to my place for nightcap, talked a little, and then he left.
What'd you talk about, do you recall?
Same old thing. Tried to argue me into taking a job with a company. He's been trying to sell me on it for years. I never could see it.
I see. What kind of work do you do now, Jack?
Tennis.
How's that?
I play tennis. Follow the tournaments. I like it pretty well. My father never could see it. He calls it tennis bums.
I see. And then you don't have a regular job that you work at?
No, that's what we always argued about. I like tennis, though. Figure if you've got the money and you don't have to work, you might as well be doing something you like. Hey, you fellas care for a stick of gum?
No, thank you.
No.
Excuse me. You know, I've been doing pretty well since I strengthened my backhand. I'm seeded fourth in this tournament.
That's so.
Oh. Pretty good life all in all. A lot of fresh air. Nice looking girls around. Good class people.
Mm-hmm. You still live in town, Jack?
A friend and I rent a place in Hollywood. Just moved there.
When'd you move?
Sometime last week. Why?
Thursday night?
Yeah, that's right. Thursday night. Is that supposed to mean something?
You left pretty much in a hurry, didn't you?
I guess so, yeah.
Mind telling us why?
Look, let's go back in the lounge.
Yeah, okay.
A little more privacy. No use advertising it.
What's that?
I got quite a few bills around town that need paying. Tried to get my father to cover them when I saw him Thursday night. He turned me down, so I figured the best thing to do was move. I'd lose some of the bill collectors for a while, anyway.
Mm-hmm. Do you usually notify your family when you move?
Well, I was going to let them know. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I don't think I get it, all these questions.
Just routine, Jerry. We understand that your father gave you a gun about a year ago, a .32 revolver, nickel-plated.
No, that's right.
Well, if you had the gun, how come it was found in your father's car?
Because he asked me for it back. Oh, must have been, 6 weeks ago.
You say why he wanted it back?
No, I didn't ask him. I dropped it off one day when I was going by his office. You can check with his secretary, Mr. Butler. Say, fellas, if you don't mind, I better run. I got that doubles match coming up.
Just one more question, Jared. Can you think of a good reason why your father'd want to take his own life?
Just one.
Yeah?
You met my mother?
During the next 3 weeks, besides checking on dozens of other missing persons calls, we continued pushing the search for John Keith Jarrett. One by one, we eliminated the possibilities. Jarrett's personal physician told us that after a recent examination, he considered his patient to be in sound physical and mental health. We rechecked Jarrett's business rating. His company was in excellent financial condition. His bank statements were gone over. Nothing showed there. We talked to Jarrett's lawyer. He could think of nothing to account for his client's disappearance or possible suicide. We went back and retraced our steps. Outside of the gun found in Jarrett's car, which tied in with nothing, there was no hint of fire involved. 2 months went by. We kept pressing the search. We got nowhere. Thursday, April 11th, I had lunch at the Federal Cafe, and then I took our car, 80K, to the police garage for servicing. 1:15 p.m. I checked back in at the office.
Joe.
Hi.
Got something.
Yeah?
The Jarrett case. This take-back just came through from Washington.
Oh, let me see it.
Here, look here. Here you go. Walter John Mitchell, Port Santa Tomas.
Santa Tomas.
Yeah, we've been there. A little fishing town north of San Diego.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Walter Mitchell, small boat operator, applied for a Coast Guard pass March 18th.
Let me see. Check the fingerprints on Mitchell's application. Found to be the same as fingerprints on missing persons bulletin. Well, how about that?
Yes, we made it. John Jarrett, Walter Mitchell.
Same man, huh? 2 p.m. Ben and I checked out of the office, got in a car, and drove down the coast to Port Santa Tomas, a small fishing town with a population of 250. On his application for a Coast Guard pass, the man who signed himself Walter John Mitchell listed his address as Pier 2, berth number 11. When we checked there, the berth was empty. We talked to one of the villagers fishing from the pier. He pointed to a fishing craft lying halfway out in the bay and identified it as the Blanche S., Mitchell's boat. Said he was having engine trouble. The man told us that he had a small boat that he'd rent out for $2. We took him up on it.
Sure hot down here. Think I'll get rid of this coat.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yep.
I'll give you a hand there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sure a long pull.
You want me to take over for a while?
No, we're almost there now.
Yeah, easy now. We're coming alongside you.
Yeah, all right.
That ought to do it.
Mr. Mitchell? Walter Mitchell?
Yeah, coming. Who is it?
Police officer, sir. I'd like to talk to you if you have a minute.
Oh, all right. Come on aboard. Hold it steady there.
All right, I got it. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, all right.
Look, boys. You better grab hold of my hand.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Hurry up and climb aboard.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Come on up forward, officers.
Thank you. My name is Romero, sir. This is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
How do you do?
How do you do, sir?
Yeah, here we are. You can sit on that hatch cover if you like. Clean. Scrubbed it down myself this morning.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, thank you, sir.
Beautiful day, isn't it? Nice warm sun. Look at that. Water's clear as crystal. Good life out here, officers.
Yes, sir. I guess you have a pretty good hunch why we're here.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to have you tell me.
Well, your real name's Jarrett, isn't it? John Keith Jarrett?
Yeah, I thought so. I've been halfway expecting it. Tell me, how'd you find it?
Your application for a Coast Guard pass. Check the fingerprints on it.
Well, yeah, but you didn't have anything to compare them with, did you?
Well, when you applied for that permit to carry a gun, we got a set of your prints. They went out with the missing persons bulletin on you.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Washington matched up the prints and sent the information along to us.
Yeah, it's all right. Sure handed to you fellas. I thought I was pretty smart covering up.
Well, how about it, Mr. Jarrett? I mean, taking off like you did, don't you figure to maybe have a little explaining to do?
Yeah, imagine I do. You smoke?
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir, I'd like one. Here, I got a match right here.
Well, there's no need to tell you. You've had a lot of people worrying over you.
I don't think there are too many. My secretary, maybe, right?
Well, yes, sir.
Look, I realize you men know your business. I know I don't have to remind you, but I'd just like to make it clear.
What's that?
I know a little bit of the law, and I want you to understand this. If you should tell anyone where I am, I'd consider it an invasion of my personal rights, okay?
Any way you want it.
Maybe you can't figure out my disappearing the way I did, but I think you know that legally I've done nothing wrong. I've respected the rights of the law, and now I want the law to respect my rights.
Yes, sir, it's fine with us, Mr. Jarrett. There's just one thing.
Yes, sir?
We've chased down quite a few blind alleys on this thing. That false suicide that you staged, the gun, the letter. Do you think that maybe that earns us an explanation?
I'm sorry about the legwork, believe me. You can hear the story if you want to, short version or long. Which one?
Any way you want to tell it.
Uh-huh.
You met my family, have you?
Yeah, we have.
My wife?
Yes, sir.
My son, Keith?
Yeah.
My daughter?
Yes, sir.
Then you know what they're like. My wife's been an alcoholic for 8 years. Why be polite? She's a drunk. My son's a tennis bum. There's no other word for that. My daughter?
Yes, sir.
You know it as well as I do. 2 divorces, different boyfriend every week. She might as well be walking the street. I worked hard for my family, Sergeant. I was proud of them once. What would you do if they turned out the way they have?
I don't think I could say, Mr. Jarrett. I don't know your family that well.
There's a good reason you don't, Sergeant. I paid a lot of money to keep them off the front page. One jam after another. Scandal, 10 years of it. Covering up for them. I got tired of it. Dead tired. Maybe I'm just getting old. You men care for a cold bottle of beer?
No, thank you, sir.
Well, there's nothing more to tell, officers. I worked most of my life for my family. I've had 3 vacations in 20 years. I tried to do everything I could for them. They're rotting apart, Sergeant, all 3 of them. I didn't want to stand around and watch them rot. That's why I left.
I see.
They each have their own trust fund. They'll be taken care of.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess it's none of my business, Mr. Jarrett, but do you think that you might have been to blame, maybe? Your children, I mean?
I don't know. Maybe. If I made the mistakes, I guess I'll pay for them. It's not much fun changing your life when you're 52 years old. Gets lonely sometimes. Pretty lonely.
Well, what are you going to do now, do you know?
Sail around, I guess. Take the Blanchess down to Mexico, all round, do some fishing. It's lonely sometimes. I'll get used to it. Say, you men wouldn't like to stay on board for dinner, would you? I'm even learning to cook.
No, thank you, Mr. Jarrett. Guess we better start getting back, huh, Joe?
Yeah, yes, we have.
Well, thanks very much for dropping by, officers. Sorry about that extra legwork I caused you. Oh, here.
What's this?
$2 for the rent of the rope.
Glad met you, Jarrett. Good to you.
Same to you, Friday. Goodbye.
Bye, Mr. Jarrett.
Watch your step there now.
Yes. Yeah, we got it all right, I think.
There you go. Okay, Joe, come ahead.
All right. Passed off your line, boy.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Mitchell. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good luck, gentlemen.
Good luck to you. Nice fellow, that Mr. Mitchell, huh?
Yeah.
Strange one, huh, Joe?
Oh, I don't know. He seems pretty happy. Must have been pretty rough on him.
Yeah. What's it prove?
It's no crime to get lost.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 19th, a final report was filed by officers investigating the disappearance of John Keith Jarrett. In a moment, the results of that report. After a complete investigation by officers into the case, it was found that John Keith Jarrett had acted within his rights. Legally, for the officers to disclose his whereabouts would have constituted an invasion of privacy. 3 years ago, unknown to his family or friends, John Jarrett died and was buried anonymously. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the material and direct quotations included in the following program have been taken from authoritative files and from dispatches filed by the Associated Press and International News Service. We present these statements without editorial comment. We assume no responsibility for their content.
The American Broadcasting Company presents 1 out of 7.
make a day. 7 days make 1 week. And from these past 7 days, the editors here in our San Francisco newsroom have chosen the one story which they have judged most worthy of retelling. This is 1 out of
7. Theodore Gilmore Bilbo is an honorable man. As a member of the United States Senate, he is looked upon as such by the eyes of the law. Perhaps he is looked upon as such by many or most of his constituents. Though his voice occasionally grate upon the nerves, and his views often confound the innocent, the fact remains, as a member of the Senate of the United States, Theodore Gilmore Bilbo is an honorable man, and we do not intend to prove otherwise. We merely wish to cite a few samples of his handiwork, and perhaps a supplementary side glance or two, just for the sake of contrast. Adjust your dials most carefully, citizens. Herewith presenting Senator Theodore Bilbo, picture number 1. Scene, the chamber of the Mississippi State Legislature. Time, March 23rd, 1944. The Speaker.
The chair recognizes our distinguished guest, the Honorable Theodore Bilbo, United States Senator from the state of Mississippi. Gentlemen, at this moment, I cannot urge you too strongly to continue the valiant fight to uphold our racial integrity. We must renew our faith and allegiance to the color line. For your information, I've found that certain Negro organizations are determined to secure passage of anti-poll tax measures. It's their first wedge toward the fulfillment of a dastardly equality program which Negro leaders have launched throughout the South and throughout the nation. That equality they must not and will not attain.
After his stirring appeal to the legislature, Senator Bilbo informs a small group of friends in confidential tones.
You know, gentlemen, I found out that a prominent national official asked Southern colleges and universities to open their doors to Negroes. You know what I told him? Well, I'll tell you what I told him. I said, Negroes will never get into our universities. You Negro-loving Yankees can go straight.
As a member of the Senate of the United States, Theodore Bilbo is an honorable man, and we do not intend to prove otherwise. Here is picture number 2.
Hello, Senator Bilbo speaking.
Senator, this is Representative Mark Antonio of New York speaking.
Yes, what do you want?
Senator, I just got a letter from a lady who lives in my district. It seems that she wrote you that letter about your filibustering against the FEPC. Well, she says she stated her case fairly. And she also says that as a reply, you wrote her one of the dirtiest letters possible.
Well, yes, I think I did.
Well, Senator, she also says you addressed her with the greeting, "My dear Dago." Is that correct?
Of course that's correct. That's what I called her. She's a wop, ain't she?
That lady's Italian, Senator. If that's what you mean. I just thought you'd like to know that the lady has 3 brothers in the Army in Europe. One of them has been killed in action already. You know, if you had a shred of decency in you, you'd apologize for that letter.
I'll never apologize why she's getting off light. Now, listen, she really would have been scorched if I was mad.
Theodore Bilbo is an honorable man. We do not intend to prove otherwise. Here is picture number 3. Scene, the chamber of the United States Senate. Time, the 30th of June, 1945. Senator Bilbo is filibustering against passage of the Fair Employment Practices Commission, and during his prolonged dissertation to the gentlemen of the Senate, the following occurs.
The senator from Mississippi may continue. Thank you. Gentlemen, I have been hearing much talk about the supposed bravery of our Negro soldiers. I have it on good authority and from some of the highest-ranking generals in our army that our Negro troops overseas are an utter and abysmal failure. They're just no good. And as for giving them a vote, why, they'd only sell their votes to the highest bidder anyway, so why give it to them in the first place?
At the same moment, deep in the jungle of an embattled Pacific island, a Negro soldier pens a note back home to his family. And maybe this works pretty hard, Margaret, but it's a job that you just have to do. It's been 3 days now. Got no sleep. Their bombers are still paying us visits. And it still doesn't look like the war's going to be over soon. But we have to keep on. Just keep on. I know. I just know everything's going to turn out all right. And when we finally get back, the folks will realize what we've done. And I'll bet they look at us differently. You know, for the first time, they'll see that bullets can kill anybody. They'll see, black or white, when blood runs out on the ground, it's all the same color. That's what the Negro GI thought. But back in the chamber of the United States Senate, Theodore Bilbo thought differently.
I have it on good authority and from some of the highest-ranking generals in our army that our Negro troops overseas are an utter and abysmal failure.
When Senator Bilbo made that statement, he was standing under the roof of the United States Senate. It is very safe in the United States Senate. A bomb hasn't fallen there for quite some time. You must understand, please, this is merely a portrait, an interesting portrait, of a duly elected representative of the American people. For you see, Theodore Bilbo is an honorable man, and we do not wish or intend to prove otherwise. Here is picture number 4. Though the senator has firm convictions on certain subjects, there is seen a mounting tide of sentiment equally firm, equally convinced that the senator errs. On the 10th of August, 1940. Senator Bilbo, it is the opinion of the Committee of Catholics for Human Rights that your conduct toward racial minorities is a chilling deterrent to worldwide belief that America is the symbol of democratic freedom and human rights. In a recent statement to the press, you attacked the Jewish people of the United States on the grounds that their race had damned and crucified Christ. You used this highly metaphysical argument to damn, vilify, besmirch, and otherwise persecute the Jewish people in America to further your own political ends. By lucid contrast, a few days after his attack on the Jews, Senator Bilbo is stricken suddenly with a strange ailment. He is put aboard a train and speeds northward for treatment. And is it not strange that the senator demands to be taken to the Mayo Clinic? Is it not strange when you consider that the Mayo Clinic was founded and operated by the Mayo brothers, 2 members of the Jewish race professing the Jewish faith? But Obviously, the senator is not loath to take advantage of the skill of the Jewish race. In the end, the senator's critical operation is a success, and in a few weeks he returns to the floor of the Senate with another plan for the American Negroes.
Gentlemen, for the best interest of the nation and all concerned, I believe a colony for American Negroes should be established on the west coast of Africa, bordering the state of Monrovia. Because of the exigencies of the times, any Negro who is race conscious and smart should be ready and more than willing to settle down in such a colony in West Africa.
The very same day in the halls of the Senate, hallowed by the figures of men the likes of Lincoln and Jefferson, Theodore Bilbo, as a representative of the American people, had this to say.
I cannot vote for the appointment of Mrs. Franklin Roosevelt as delegate to the United Nations Organization for the United States. No. She is a woman who has professed friendship for the Negro elements in America. She has no place representing us abroad. Mr. President,
the chair recognizes the senator from Idaho.
Mr. President, I should like to congratulate the senator from Mississippi. He doesn't know it, but he's just paid a splendid compliment to Mrs. Roosevelt by voting against her. Mr. President, gentlemen, please, I'd like to add one more note. A word of warning to our senator from the South. It isn't going to be long now, Senator, before the people of Mississippi see the light and knock you out of office on that part of your anatomy where your few brains are undoubtedly located.
You must understand, please, this was merely a portrait, an interesting portrait of a representative of the American people. For, after all, Senator Theodore Gilmore Bilbo is an honorable man. He is looked upon as such by the eyes of the law. He is an honorable man. We did not intend to prove otherwise.
The script for 1 out of 7 is written by James Edward Moser. Gil Dowd is the producer, and music by Otto Clare at the Hammond organ. The material used in tonight's program was taken from authoritative files and from dispatches by Associated Press and International News Service. Listen next week, same time, same station, for
1 out of 7.
This is ABC, the American Broadcasting.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A potential killer is on the loose in your city. He's robbed 6 people. For no reason at all, he beats his victims senseless. He moves fast. He's well armed. Your job, stop him. You'll be amazed when you compare Fatima with other long cigarettes.
You'll find they now cost the same. But in Fatima, the difference is quality.
You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild, with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
So compare Fatima yourself. Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima for a new year of greater smoking enjoyment.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, March 8th. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch on a homicide. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from the record bureau. It was 11:45 p.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Joe?
Hi, Bill.
Romero called about 5 minutes ago. He's on his way in from Georgia Street.
Oh, thank you. The captain still around?
He's gone for the night. You can catch him at home if you want to. Trouble?
The rattlesnake bandit. Got 2 more couples tonight.
Right. Bad?
About the same as the last 3 jobs he pulled. Pretty vicious. Gave the victims a bad going over.
Who are they?
The young salesman and his girlfriend. They were parked up in the Silver Lake area. Bandit robbed him. When he didn't find enough money in the young fellow's wallet, he pistol whipped him, messed him up quite a bit.
Why'd he do that?
Oh, there's no reason for it. The young girl in the car had an engagement ring on. She offered to hand it over. The bandit pulled her out of the car, punched her in the face, hit her quite a few times. Guy just seems to be looking for blood, that's all.
No leads on him, huh?
No, not so far. It looks like I'm out. Have you got any aspirin, Bill?
Yeah, I got a fresh bottle this afternoon.
Lousy headache. I've had it all night.
How about the thief's M.O.? The same, huh?
Well, it has been so far. He works the outlying districts, parking areas. Doesn't seem to be any reason at all for these sluggings. The victims all agree on that. No provocation at all. The guy just seems to get a kick out of punching in somebody's face.
2 pills in it?
Oh, yeah, that's fine, thank you.
Boys in robbery turn up anything?
No, neither have we. Bandit operates in hot cars. He's got a few good prints to work with. No make, though.
Guy works alone, huh?
Well, he did for the first 2 jobs. Last few times he had a bright-looking blonde with him. Good-looking, you know, nice figure. Victims say that she stands by and just seems to egg him on. Seems to get a big thrill out of it, I guess.
Hi, Bill. Joe?
Hi.
How'd you do, Ben?
Doctor didn't think it'd be a good idea to bother him too much tonight. We can talk to him tomorrow.
Well, how about the hold-up man's description? Did you get that?
Yeah, from the girl. Matches what the other victims gave us. She didn't see the getaway car, though. Didn't have a chance.
Well, how about the young fella? Is he still unconscious?
Yeah, they're going to move him to the county hospital. You should have seen his face.
Yeah?
Terrible. It's a mess.
This bandit's girlfriend, the blonde, nothing at all on her?
Victim says she's got a nice figure, good looking. Quite a few like that in Los Angeles.
What are they getting out of these stick-ups anyway? Can't be too much, huh?
Oh, that's just it. None of the heists have netted them more than $50. Hardly worth the trouble.
Hot shot.
I'll get it.
What is it?
Wait a minute. Rattlesnake bandit. He got another couple.
Where?
South end of Echo Park.
Yeah?
He shot both of them. Together with Cummings and McCready from Homicide, Ben and I drove to the scene of the holdup and shooting in the Echo Park area. The victims were identified as Ralph Younger, 34, a high school English teacher. He'd been beaten severely about the face and neck and shot once through the right shoulder. His companion was a Thelma Donovan, 26, a grade school teacher. She'd been shot through the temple just above the eyes. She was still alive, but in a critical condition. We questioned Ralph Younger briefly before he was removed by ambulance to the Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. His description of the hold-up man tallied exactly with that of the rattlesnake bandit. He also gave us the description and license number of the getaway car. We got out a broadcast and an APB. A routine check of the area failed to turn up any leads. 11 a.m. the next morning, Ralph Younger told us the story from his hospital bed.
I was teaching Thelma how to drive, Sergeant. We were going along that side street when the sedan pulled up, forced us over to the curb.
And your friend, Miss Donovan, was sitting in the driver's seat then?
That's right. I got out on my side and started over to ask this fellow what he was doing, crowding us like that. He rushed up to me and started slugging me in the face with his gun. I went down.
What did Miss Donovan do?
She started hollering for help. The hold-up guy ran over and shoved his gun at her. He had it pointed at her head. And he grabbed Thelma's purse and started looking through it. For money, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Say, would you mind moving this pillow over a little bit?
Sure, gotcha. Oh, there we are. There, how's that, okay?
Oh, under the shoulder, please.
All right.
Yeah.
There you are.
That's fine. Thanks.
Were you lying on the street while all this was going on, Mr. Young?
No, he yanked me to my feet, made me stand by the car with my hands up. Thelma was crying. The hold-up man looked through her purse, and then he said, "Who are you trying to kid, lady? You got more money than this." Thelma told him the truth. It was all she had, $3.
So what happened then?
He shoved the barrel of the gun against her head, right here by the temple. Then I heard the gun go off. Thelma fell over in the seat. Wasn't any reason for it. No reason at all. Just shot her.
Well, what did you do then? Do you remember?
I jumped for the man. I wanted to kill him right there. He turned and fired the gun at me. Hit me right here, below the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Then he ran out and got in his car and drove off. There was a blonde girl with him. I got a good look at her. Blonde, pretty, attractive.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there anything else about the man's description that you might have forgotten to tell us last night?
No, I don't think so. I gave you the license number of his car. Can't you find him that way?
It was a stolen car, Mr. Young. We took it from one of his other victims. It was found out in Wilshire this morning. Abandoned.
I only wish I'd got my hands on him. Poor Thelma. How is she, do you know?
Well, there's no late report. Maybe you better check with the doctor, huh?
Yeah. Hey, before you go, would you mind ringing this button here? It's for the nurse. The shoulder's giving me trouble again.
Yeah, okay.
Well, thanks very much, Younger. Sure hope that shoulder of yours gets better.
I hope so.
Goodbye. We'll be checking with you later on.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, Ben.
Romero? Joe?
How'd you do, Bill?
Checked with the doctor. Donovan girl's still unconscious. Pretty critical.
Mm-hmm. What'd the doc say? Is she going to pull through?
She might. They can't tell yet. One thing's sure, though.
What's that?
Bullet did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
She's totally blind.
4 days before a bullet from the hold-up gun had blinded schoolteacher Thelma Donovan for life, the rattlesnake bandit and his blonde girlfriend were unknown to the city of Los Angeles. In the space of little more than 96 hours, they'd robbed and slugged a dozen people from one end of the city to the other. In every case, the attacks were just about as brutal and vicious as they were unprovoked. The amount of money taken from each victim was negligible. The only apparent conclusion was that the bandit and his girlfriend were out for blood. That night, despite a citywide alert to all radio cars and patrolmen, the suspects robbed and slugged two more couples between the hours of 10 p.m. and midnight. Between midnight and 1:30 a.m., they got two more victims. 2:30 a.m., Ben and I got back to the city hall, the carpool.
118 Sixth Spring. 118 Sixth Spring.
Looks like a place over there, huh?
Mm-hmm. Wonder how McCready and Cummings made out.
I hope they got more than we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good right here.
Want to get the radio, Joe?
Yeah, fine. Let's go.
Doggone it, I knew I forgot something.
What's that?
Cigarette, you got any left?
I don't think so. Old pack is all... No, there's one left in here.
No, that's all right. I can't take your last smoke.
Oh, go ahead. There's a machine upstairs by the elevator. I'll get some.
All right. I sure better get these shoes half soled. I'll be walking around in my stocking feet pretty soon.
You just got them a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Tops are as good as new. Soles of the darn things went just like that. No wonder they had them on sale.
Yeah. In just a minute, I want to get those smokes.
Oh, yeah. Skipper say he was going to stay around?
Until about 2, yeah. He's probably gone by now.
It's a long day. Anything in the book?
Just a minute. Yeah, your wife called. I want you to get a refill on that prescription for your little boy.
Oh.
Hiya. How'd you two do?
Nothing. How about you?
Chandler called from robbery a minute ago. Thinks they may have something.
Yeah?
At 211, big service station out on Pico. Hold-up man had a blonde in the car with him.
What about description?
Jives pretty well with the guy we're after.
Well, the M.O. doesn't. That thief and his girl haven't tried anything but car hold-up since they started.
How'd they manage the job?
Well, you know how they've been operating for transportation. They rob the people, steal their car. When they reach another victim, they transfer to his car. First time they switched that system was tonight.
Hold up on South Hoover, the man and his wife.
Instead of changing over, they stayed in the blue Chevy coupe. Same one they took in the job before that. Up to now, they've used the same hot car in the last 3 jobs.
Sure going to help if they stick with it. What about the gas station attendant?
Well, excuse me, Crowley Chandler. Homicide Cummings. Yeah, Glenn. 5 Paul, 389. Right, thanks. They dug up a witness to the gas station job. Suspects drove off in the blue Chevy coupe. License 5 Paul, 389.
Same car, huh?
It stops me. What was the take?
$23. Slugged the attendant, took off. The broadcast's out. Area's been alerted. Nothing yet.
Okay, Ben.
Yep. Sure is growing into a long night.
Yeah, you going to cover, huh, Bill?
Yeah, till Fergie gets back.
Right. Well, we'll be checking with you.
Got it? Homicide Romero. Yeah. How's that? Yeah, right, thanks. Drugstore on South Fig, 211, slugging. Blonde girl drove the escape car.
Yeah?
5 Paul, 389.
In the next 3 hours before dawn, the rattlesnake bandit and his blonde girlfriend held up and robbed a restaurant and 2 more service stations and made good their escape. For some unknown reason, they continued to use the same stolen car, the blue Chevrolet coupe. By noontime the following day, composite pictures of the hold-up couple were drawn up by the crime lab artist from the descriptions given by the victims. The pictures were printed up and given wide distribution throughout the city. The description and license number of the escape car was in the hands of every radio car and patrolman in all divisions. The search was intensified. It got us nothing. The following night and early morning, without even slowing their pace, the suspects added 4 more holdups and sluggings to their credit. One of the victims was Fred Lerner, proprietor of a small lunch counter near 18th and Olive.
I've been held up before, officer, 6 times. Never saw a punk as hard-looking as this guy, though.
You're sure about the description, Mr. Lerner?
Well, he stood just as close as you're standing to me now. Wild look in his eye, waving that gun around. I wasn't taking any chances. I gave him everything.
Well, how much was that?
$18.50.
Well, how about the getaway car? You're pretty sure of the make and the color?
Well, I ran to the door there as soon as I left. Saw him drive off. There's a license, just wrote it down. It's 5P389. I saw the whole thing. Sure surprised Lois would tie up with a punk like him.
Lois? Who's that?
Well, you know, the blonde who drives the car for him, Lois Hagen.
Well, how do you know that's her name?
She used to be a waitress, worked for my brother. Lois Hagen, blonde. I spotted her right away in that car.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure, Lois. Didn't you know it was her?
7:30 a.m. We put in a call to the record bureau and had them check on the name and description of Lois Hagen. No make, no previous record. With the help of Fred Lerner and his brother, we traced the Hagen girl to a drive-in where she used to work. There, we checked the employment records and got an address on her. 1800 Norwich Drive. Turned out to be a small apartment house in West Hollywood. Ben checked with the landlady while I waited in the car.
Transfer plane 2. 130, transfer plane 2, Lieutenant 135.
Well, that's it.
What'd you get?
Talked to the landlady. She's managed the apartment for 16 years.
Yeah?
She never heard of Lois Hagen.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. And now, here's an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
1949. Fatima more than doubled its smokers coast to coast. 1950. Another record-breaking year, with more long cigarette smokers insisting on Fatima quality than ever before.
In 1951, enjoy Fatima quality yourself.
Yes, friends, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality of tobaccos. The finest Turkish and domestic varieties, extra mild and superbly blended, to give you a much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, plump cigarettes rolled in the finest paper money can buy.
Quality, even to the appearance of the bright, clean, golden yellow package, carefully wrapped and sealed to bring you Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
Compare Fatima yourself. Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Start enjoying Fatima for a new year of greater smoking enjoyment. Insist on Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes.
Tuesday, March 13th. That night and the one following, the Rattlesnake Bandit and his blonde girlfriend, supposedly Lois Hagen, continued their campaign of holdups and sluggings. They robbed 2 liquor stores, an all-night cafe, a cigar shop, and 2 more service stations. In each case, the descriptions of the suspects and their getaway car was the same. Routine investigations got nowhere. Ben and I went to work checking out the thin lead that we had on the girl known as Lois Hagen. After 3 days of pounding the pavement and asking questions, we found 2 former waitresses at drive-in restaurants who had worked with Lois Hagen. Both of them gave us addresses where they thought the Hagen girl had lived at one time. One of them was a phony. It was a vacant lot. The other panned out. It was a rooming house out in the Boyle Heights district. The manager told us that the Hagen girl lived there 2 years before. She told us that as far as she knew, the girl's mother, a Mrs. Ernestine Hagen, still ran a small French laundry on South Hobart Boulevard. We found Mrs. Hagen working in her shop. She was a small, thin woman with gray hair.
Yes, I have a daughter, Lois. What's the matter?
I'd like to talk to her, Miss Hagen. Do you know where we can locate her?
Probably sounds funny to you. I haven't seen my daughter in 2 years.
Well, do you have any idea where she's living, ma'am?
No, she's not much of a daughter. We didn't get along. As I say, 2 years ago we had an argument. She left me. Never wrote a letter. I just don't know.
I see.
I heard she was living in Detroit for a while. I guess she's back here now. One of my lady friends, Mrs. McCormick, saw Lois shopping out in Hollywood. That was about a month ago.
Mm-hmm. How old is your daughter, Mrs. Hagen?
She'll be 20 next month. She looks older than she really is. Won't you excuse me, please? My flat iron back here. I have it heating.
Certainly, ma'am.
Do you have a copy of the composite picture of the girl?
Yeah. That's right here.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was getting so late. I have this rush order to get ready by 4 o'clock, officers. If you want, you can come back here. We can talk while I get it out.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. Come on.
There's a chair there, if you like.
Oh, thank you.
Seems I'm always so busy lately. I used to have some fine help. It's not so easy to find anymore. This iron seems awful hot. It's all right.
I wonder if you'd mind looking at this picture, ma'am, this one here.
All right. Mm-hmm. Looks something like Lois. You're looking for her, is that it? She done something again?
Well, we're not sure, ma'am. Has she been in trouble before?
I can't be more ashamed of her than I already am. Yes, she's been in trouble before. She was nothing but trouble. My only child. Her father died when she was a baby, but I guess she needed a father. I couldn't do anything with her.
Was your daughter ever in any serious trouble? With the police, I mean?
I don't know, maybe. She was. I didn't hear about it. And I tried to understand her. We never got along. I don't know. This makes me sick to think about it.
Well, how about her friends, Mrs. Hagen? I mean, her recent friends. Do you happen to know any of them?
No. Lois never brought them home. I knew they were tramps. I heard the way the neighbors were talking. Trampy fellas, trampy girls, drinking, doing things. You know, she didn't learn those things at home.
Well, what was Lois' last known address? Do you have any idea at all?
Place in Boyle Heights, a boarding house. Last I heard of Lois. She never wrote a letter. That's another thing.
Yes, ma'am.
She could have had the best education any girl could want. I worked 12 years in the laundry here to give it to her. I sent her to the convent. Even the nuns couldn't do anything with her. She only sassed them back. She finally quit altogether. I don't know.
Can you think of anybody who might know where your daughter is? Maybe one of your relatives?
Yeah, we don't have any relatives here. I have a brother in Ohio, that's all. This lace blouse is in an awful lot of trouble. Would you pull out that plug, Sergeant, please?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if you have a picture of your daughter that we could borrow. We'll see that it's returned to you.
Yeah, all right. I got lots of pictures of Lois. She's a pretty girl, you know. Looks quite a bit like me when I was young.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thanks very much for your time.
Even the nurses at the hospital said it when Lois was born. Beautiful child. Certainly strange, isn't it?
How's that?
When they're babies, they all look so clean and so good.
Yes, ma'am.
What happens to them?
Before we left Mrs. Hagen, we got a photograph of her daughter, Lois, and then we drove back to the office. We spent the rest of the afternoon showing the picture to several of the robbery victims. All of them identified the Hagen girl as the bandit's accomplice. We got out a supplementary broadcast. That night, the holdup couple failed to put in an appearance. The following night, the same. Not a sign of them. Still no sign of the escape car either. Where they might be hiding out, we had no idea. The search went on. Repeated checks through the stats office and the record bureau failed to turn up any new leads. We stayed on it. 4 nights later, the still unidentified holdup man and Lois Hagen started in all over again. 2 drugstore holdups, 2 robberies of couples in parked cars. All of the victims were beaten senseless. Monday, March 19th, 8 a.m.
Joe?
Hi. They turn up anything last night?
2 more jobs. Both victims identified the Hagen girl as the accomplice.
Anything else?
Still using the same escape car. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, we're no closer than we were a week ago, huh?
I checked the hospital on the druggist they slugged.
How's he doing?
I don't know yet. Still unconscious.
I get it. Homicide, Friday. Yeah, Mike. Where? Yeah, right away.
What have you got?
32R. They're out on 18th and Hill.
Yeah?
The hold-up car. They just spotted it. 8:20 a.m. Together with Cummings and McCready, we drove out to 18th and Hill, where the officers in Unit 32R had the hold-up car staked out. It was parked in the back of a large service station on Hill Street near the corner of 18th. We talked with the manager, and he told us that a blonde girl answering Lois Hagen's description had left the car there earlier that morning just to have the distributor fixed and the battery recharged. She told him that she'd called for the car early that night. Because of the way that the service station was situated, it would have been impossible to stake out on the blue coupe without making it look obvious. We explained the setup to the manager and made arrangements for Ben and I to pose as employees. That way we could keep a close watch on the car until the suspects called for it. Cummings and McCready holed up in a coffee shop directly across the street. 2 teams of men from robbery covered from their vantage points. Ben and I took up our posts as supervisors of the station's 10-minute car wash.
They sure do a great business here, huh?
Yeah. You mentioned to the manager about keeping the area clear around that car, didn't you?
Yeah, it's all set up. We're not going to have an excuse in the world if we miss those 2.
Yeah, if they show up.
What are we supposed to do now? Pull these tickets off the cars as they move off the wash line?
Yeah, that's all. Just slip the tickets in that box over there, see?
Mm-hmm. Must have run them a few dollars, huh, installing all this equipment.
Seems to be paying off, doesn't it? What time you got now?
A few minutes past 4.
Want to smoke?
No, I just put one out.
1 a.m. Ben spotted a young blonde girl turn the corner onto Hill and start up the street toward the service station. As she came closer, she looked to the right and the left. She paused in front of the station, looked on both sides of the street, and then she turned completely around and walked on past.
It's Lois Hagen. She's going right down to the corner. How about it?
Yeah, I'll put in with you.
How about a tail? We can't just let her walk away from us.
No, just a minute. Take a look.
She's turning around. Coming back this way. She's coming in.
Yeah, we better get back to our car. Looks like it. Come on.
Right.
The young blonde entered the garage office, paid the repair bill, and drove off in the hold-up car. Ben and I followed an 80K. Cummings and McCready tailed us. The blue coupe moved 2 blocks down Hill Street and then turned into an apartment garage. We parked on the street, went in and got the manager out of bed. We showed him Lois Hagen's picture. He told us that she was registered alone in apartment 16. He failed to recognize the description of the hold-up man. McCready and 3 men from robbery covered the front and back exits. Cummings, Ben, and I climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor.
Number 16.
Joe, you want to ring it?
Yeah?
Sorry, ma'am.
Bedroom, Bill.
Right. I'll take the kitchen.
Wait a minute. What is this?
Police officers. You Lois Hagen?
You get out of here. Let me in.
Bedroom's empty.
Nothing back here.
All right, where is he? Come on, let's have it.
Frank, get out! Cops, Frank, get out!
Upstairs, you.
Watch her, Bill.
I got it.
Come on, baby.
Yep. Upstairs, Joe. Watching?
Yeah, hold it.
Yep.
Frank, get out! The cops!
Come on down, coppers. Give me room.
Give it up, mister. You haven't got a chance.
Give me room. I'm coming down.
We got the building covered, mister. Give it up.
Look out, Joe.
I'll get his gun.
How is he?
Dead.
Joe, Ben, you all right?
Yeah, Bill. You want to take the girl downstairs?
Let me see him, please. Frank.
All right, lady.
Didn't have to happen. I tried to tell him, get away. He wouldn't listen, never listened.
Let's go.
We were married yesterday. You didn't know that, did you? Just married.
Yeah.
Married 2 days.
Yeah, well, the honeymoon's over. Come on, lady.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent. On August 5th, trial was held in Superior Court, Department 87, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here's our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. Here's an invitation we just received from New York's famous Stork Club. Host Sherman Billingsley asked us to pass it on to you Dragnet listeners who have television sets. It reads, Fatima, best of all long cigarettes, cordially invites you to see the Stork Club on television beginning this week. Well, Dragnet welcomes the Stork Club to the Fatima family. It's a fine television show. You know the Stork Club recommends only the best, and as Sherman Billingsley says, in long cigarettes, that means extra mild Fatima. You can judge that yourself, just as I have, by comparing Fatima with other long cigarettes. Buy a pack of Fatimas. You'll find they now cost the same, but in Fatima, the difference is quality.
The body of the dead hold-up man was identified as that of Frank Ralston Kilbride. His accomplice, Lois Hagen, was tried and convicted on 6 counts of armed robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. She received sentences as prescribed by law and is now serving her term in the state penitentiary for women. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker.
Fatima Cigarettes has brought you Dragnet, portions transcribed from Los Angeles.
We the People is next on NBC.
The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. A man crouches on the window ledge of a downtown building 13 stories above the street. He threatens to leap to his death within the hour. Your job, stop him. You'll be amazed when you compare Fatima with other long cigarettes.
You'll find they now cost the same. But in Fatima, the difference is quality.
You see, Fatima is the quality king-size cigarette because it contains the finest Turkish and domestic tobaccos superbly blended. And Fatima is extra mild with a much different, much better flavor and aroma than any other long cigarette.
So compare Fatima yourself. Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Ask your dealer for Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes. Start enjoying Fatima for a new year of greater smoking enjoyment.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, September 6th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Captain Steve. My name's Friday. I was on the way back from communications, and it was 1:28 p.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
You ready, Skipper?
Yeah, coming.
Ben, what's up?
Just got the call, 3rd and Temple.
Yeah?
Fitzroy building, 13th floor. They got a jumper.
Righty, Ben.
Let's hustle it. Right. What's the story?
Skipper took the call. Not much to tell. Guy's perched out on a window ledge, 13 floors up, threatening to jump.
Yeah?
What time you got, Romero? 1:33. Not much time.
What?
The guy on the ledge, he served notice.
Well, how do you mean?
Says he's going to jump at 2 o'clock.
1:36 p.m. Ben pulled the car to a stop at 3rd and Temple. We double parked near the intersection and started across the street to the building on the northeast corner. It was a steel frame structure with a block granite facing. The stone lettering over the main entrance read, R.H. Fitzroy Building, 1927. The immediate area had been blocked off in all directions. The sidewalks directly adjacent to the building on 3rd Street and on Temple Street had also been cleared of all pedestrian traffic. Hundreds of curious onlookers jammed against police lines at the far side of the intersection. Reaching back for a full block in either direction, hundreds more had packed in behind them. 13 stories above the pavement was the center of attraction, the figure of a man standing upright on a narrow ledge, looking down at the crowd. On the street directly below him, men from the fire department's rescue squad were hurriedly stretching out nets. We entered the building, took the elevator to the 13th floor.
Who's standing by up here, Skipper? Bechtel and Wiseman. I saw the crowd gathering in the street on the way back from lunch. Looked up and saw a guy on the ledge. Came right up.
How long has the guy been standing out there?
About 15 minutes.
Sure drawing a crowd. Must be a couple of thousand people down there.
What was that room number, Friday?
1305. Yeah, it's down this way. There's Bechtel.
Beck? Hi. Been watching for you. The office is down here.
Okay. How's it stand now?
He's still out there ready to jump. We got 22 minutes to figure out how to stop him.
What's the story, anyway?
I'll let the doctor tell you. Go ahead. Through here. Nurse, where'd Dr. Turner go?
He went down to meet Dr. Rice. He's bringing him right up.
This is Captain Steed, homicide in Flanagan.
How do you do?
Sergeant Friday Romero.
How do you do?
Nurse, how are you?
Here's how he climbed outside this window here.
Yeah.
Right now, he's standing on the ledge about 12 feet to the right of the window. The ledge is about 14 inches wide.
No other windows closer to him?
No, this is it.
Did you try to talk him out of it, get him back inside?
We took a turn at it, yeah. Wiseman crawled out on the ledge, talked to him. So did I. He's one of the queerest jumpers I've come across.
What do you mean?
He's got a hammer with him, carpenter's hammer. Whenever you get close to him, he takes a cut at you. Wiseman wasn't looking for it, had to duck fast. He almost went over.
Was there any other way to reach him?
Double-checked the whole layout. This window's the closest.
What about lowering a man from the roof?
Wide piece of cornice up there, a big overhang. Put a man down on a rope, and he'd be hanging 3 feet from the side of the building. Wouldn't come close to the guy.
How about this doctor you mentioned, Beck? You figure he can help?
It's worth a try. Miss Lenahan?
Yes, Sergeant.
You saw it happen. You know better than I do what Dr. Turner's idea is. Would you fill these men in, please? Make it brief.
Surely.
Now, this man on the ledge, who is he, do you know?
Walter Harrison's his name. He's one of the doctor's patients. His sister brought him in for a routine checkup. That was about 1 o'clock.
How old's the man?
41. His sister told us he's been complaining of a backache lately. While the doctor was examining him, and Mr. Harrison flew up all of a sudden. He yelled out we were trying to cripple him, that we wanted to kill him. Oh, excuse me, please.
Sure.
Dr. Turner's office. No, I'm sorry. Not this afternoon. We have an awful lot of trouble. Yes, all right, thank you.
Well, what happened after Harrison started to act up, Miss Lenahan?
Dr. Turner and I tried to hold him. He shoved us both out of the way. He hit the doctor in the face, then he ran to the window, got out on that ledge, and crawled along the side of the building. He's been there ever since.
Miss Harrison is a mental case?
Yes, he's been for 10 years. Been in and out of the state hospital at Camarillo a couple of times. Sister Ruth's been taking care of him. She was here when it happened.
Where is she now?
Next door, the treatment room. Thelma, that's the other nurse. She's looking after Miss Harrison. She's pretty close to hysterics.
Tried to talk to her, Skipper. Not much help so far. Mm-hmm. You say the doctor's been treating this, Mr. Harrison?
No, he just came in for a physical checkup. Dr. Reich's been handling his mental condition. That's where Dr. Turner is now, getting Reich. He has his office in the next building.
What time have you got, Ben?
It's getting short. 19 minutes to 2. How about a time element, Beck? If he's going to kill himself, why is he waiting for 2 o'clock to do it?
It's got me. He scribbled a note out there, threw it down to the street. One of the men in the rescue squad grabbed it and brought it up. I got it right here.
Here, let me see.
Now, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
They want my life. They want... What's this next one?
Dead. They want me dead.
Yeah. I'd like to pray first. I'll jump at 2 o'clock. What's this last thing, Ben? I can't read this.
Let me see. At 2 o'clock, don't touch my body. That's it. Don't touch my body. You saw the guy at close range, Beck. What do you think? He's serious?
I don't know. I'm not even going to guess.
How about me going out and talking to him, Skipper? It might work. It won't do any harm.
That ledge is 14 inches wide, Romero. If you slip, I don't want to explain it to your wife and kid.
Well, how about me giving it a try? That jumper case last October, I was on that one.
It's volunteer duty, Joe. I'm not going to order you. You know the risk.
Yeah, I'll watch you. You want to stand by here at the window, Ben?
Yeah, okay.
Let's get that window off, huh?
Those blinds. Yeah. Those blinds, huh?
Okay. Give me a hand with the window.
All right. Come on. Up she goes. Oh, stuck. Yeah, it is.
All the way up, huh?
There it goes.
Okay.
Be careful now, huh?
Yeah, I will.
Joe?
Yeah, Beck.
Don't forget about that hammer the guy's got. It's just my guess.
Yeah, what's that?
The guy might want to die. I don't think he wants to do it alone.
1:43 p.m. If we could take Walter Harrison's word for it, we had exactly 17 minutes to talk him into a change of mind before he plunged to his death on the pavement 13 stories below. I crawled out of the window and started inching my way along the narrow ledge. Went slow. I kept my eyes on Harrison. He stood about 10 feet away from me, looking down at the crowds jamming the streets below. I edged along to within 8 feet of him. He didn't seem to notice me. He was a fairly tall man, about 5'10", medium build, dark hair. He was wearing gray pinstripe trousers, a white shirt, no coat, no necktie. I got to within 6 feet of him. He raised one arm and made a motion with his fist at the crowd below.
Animal! You dirty bag of animals! You won't touch me! I'll stomp right through you! You won't even touch me!
I kept edging toward him. He still didn't seem to notice me. He turned his body a little. Kept pounding the side of the building with a hammer. I got a look at his right hand. In it he held the carpenter's hammer. I got to within 5 feet of him. An airliner passed overhead. Harrison looked up. He muttered something, then he turned. He saw me.
I'm going to kill you.
It's all right with me, Walter. Why do you want to kill yourself? You're only going to hurt people.
You don't care about people. You don't care about me.
Well, what am I doing out here? Well, you got it wrong, Walter. A lot of people care about you. They want you back inside. They want you where it's safe.
You're another one of those. You want to get your hands on me. You want to grab me. Well, you're not. I'm going to kill you.
It's all right, Walter. You can kill me. I want to help you first.
You stay back. Don't you move anymore. I got this hammer and I'll smash your face with it. I'll smash you.
I only want to talk to you. I know we can straighten this out.
I'll do it my way. You understand? My way. I know who you are. You've been after me before. I know what it's all about.
Yeah, I know you do, Walter, but you got it wrong. Now, look, you're going to jump off this building at 2 o'clock. That's in 15 minutes.
That's right. You bet I am.
All right, now, let's talk it over for 5 of those minutes, huh? Can't do any harm. I'm not going to hurt you. How about it, okay?
Why should I talk to you?
Because I care about what happens to you. So does your sister. So do a lot of people.
Well, then you're like a lot of people. You want to get your hands on me. Like those animals down there, the whole dirty pack of them. They want to grab on me, get all around close and put their hands on me. Well, they're not going to do it.
Of course they're not. Nobody's going to hurt you. You know that, don't you?
You bet your life they're not. You see that dirty pack down there? Well, they don't know it, but I'm going to jump right through. I'm going to jump right through all of them. They won't even touch me, and I can do it right now.
Wait a minute, Walter. Don't forget your promise.
What are you talking about? What promise?
2 o'clock. You wrote that down yourself. You said you wouldn't jump until it was 2 o'clock, didn't you?
That was no promise. I just wrote it down, that's all. Just 2 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, your sister believed it. We gave her the note. She says it's your promise. Now, you going to make a liar out of yourself?
You're the liar. Ruth didn't say that. She didn't say it was a promise.
You got to take my word for that. All right, let's go in and ask her. How about it?
See Ruth inside?
Sure. Come on. Come on, take my hand, Walter.
All right, I'll take your hand.
Watch your step. Look out, will you?
You get back. Get back. Now, next time I won't miss. I'll smash your whole arm. You think you're pretty smart, don't you? You're trying to trick me. Well, I told you before. I know who you are. You're trying to get your hands on me.
You promised your sister 2 o'clock. You're still going to break that promise?
I'm not like you in that pack down there. I don't break promise.
Everybody knows that, Walter. They trust you. Now, come on. How about talking this thing out?
What time?
1:46. 14 minutes to go.
You're lying. How do I know that's the time?
Well, you can look at my watch. Here, right here.
No, you stand back. I told you before. You stay away from me.
I just wanted to show you the time, that's all. All right, you can look at that big clock up the street, see? The one on the side of the Hobart building up there?
14 minutes. How do I know that's right? How do I know they're not in with you, too?
You already said it. Big company. They don't care about you or me. They got a business to run. Their clock. They don't care what happens.
No, of course not. They don't care. All right, well, I'll just keep an eye on that clock.
All right. You don't mind if I talk while you wait, do you?
That plane. What's it doing up there?
Well, it's just an airliner. Probably on its way into Burbank.
You're not fooling me. That plane's been by before. It's flying low, too.
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice it. Well, what difference does it make?
Probably watching. Flying back and forth. Maybe they're the police. They're trying to do something. They're trying to get their hands on me.
Oh, let's see. Yeah. Might be their plane. It's a big one.
Sure, they're trying to do something. Coming right by here, flying low. It's the same one. I can see. Look, you see there on the wing?
Yeah, what's that?
The number right there on the wing. It's the same one that passed over a few minutes ago. Hey, you get away from me!
All right, Walter, give me that.
I'm going to kill you.
Give it to me.
That's
it, Walter.
You thought you tricked me. You didn't know I had my pocket knife. Well, I can kill you with it now. I can kill you right now.
Yeah. I told you before, it's all right with me. Look out there. Watch your step on the ledge, will you?
I should have cut your hand off. I should have cut your whole arm off and thrown it to those animals down there. Look at that blood all over your hand.
Well, I'm sorry, Walter. It's not your fault. I just wanted to talk the whole thing over to tell you how your sister feels.
You're a liar. I knew it when I looked at you. Now you get away. You get away before I kill you.
Look, there's only one thing I can tell you. Your sister Ruth's sitting inside there, and she's worried sick. She's waiting for you. She wants to take you home. Now, how about it? There's no reason for all this. You know that, don't you?
Do I?
Sure you do. Your sister and your family, they care about you. They want you home again. They want you with them. There's no reason to be standing out here now, is there?
You wait till 2 o'clock, mister.
Yeah.
I'll show you the reason.
1:48 p.m. 12 minutes left. I made my way along the ledge, through the window, back into the office. Dr. Wright, a man who'd been treating Walter Harrison for his mental sickness, was already there with Dr. Turner. While the nurse bandaged up my hand, Captain Steve, Ben, and I talked with him.
I've treated Harrison for 10 years, on and off, I guess. He showed some improvement, not much definite paranoid tendencies.
Did he ever try this before, Dr. Wright?
Not to my knowledge. His sister might tell you more. I really don't know what to advise you to do. He's never been this violent before, using a hammer, a knife.
There you are, Sergeant. I feel all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
There's only one thing I've got to know, Doctor. Is it worth letting another one of my men go out there on that ledge?
I'm afraid that's your decision, Captain. It may help, it may not. I know the patient, but I can't read his mind.
I was just thinking. We might bring Harrison's sister to the window and have her talk to him. Think that might help, Doctor?
Very possible it might. In a spot like this, I'm in the same boat you are. It's all guesswork.
You think Harrison's really going to be ready to jump at 2 o'clock, Doctor?
From what Sergeant Friday tells me, yes, I think he'll jump.
We've got to come up with something. We can't just stand around and watch a guy take a dive down 13th story.
I wish I knew the answer.
There's got to be one someplace. There's got to be an answer. Well, let's check your watch. We got 10 minutes to find it.
You are listening to Dragnet, authentic stories of your police force in action. And now, here's an authentic report from Fatima Cigarettes.
1949. Fatima more than doubled its smokers coast to coast. 1950. Another record-breaking year, with more long cigarette smokers insisting on Fatima quality than ever before.
In 1951, enjoy Fatima quality yourself.
Yes, friends, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Quality of tobaccos. The finest Turkish and domestic varieties, extra mild and superbly blended, to give you a much different, much better flavor and aroma.
Quality of manufacture. Smooth, plump cigarettes rolled in the finest paper money can buy.
Quality, even to the appearance of the bright, clean, golden yellow package. Carefully wrapped and sealed to bring you Fatima's rich, fresh, extra mild flavor.
Compare Fatima yourself. Fatimas now cost the same as other long cigarettes, but your first puff will tell you...
Ah, that's different.
Yes, in Fatima, the difference is quality. Start enjoying Fatima for a new year of greater smoking enjoyment. Insist on Fatima, the quality king-size cigarette. Best of all long cigarettes.
It's the sworn duty of the peace officer to protect the lives of the citizens of the community in which he serves. That isn't always limited to protecting the citizens from criminals and lawbreakers. Oftentimes, the citizen has to be protected from himself. The drunken driver can do as much harm to his own person as he can to others. The same for the narcotic addict. The same for mental incompetence, such as Walter Harrison. If he was being assaulted, robbed, or shot at by a gunman, it would have been no more serious. Harrison's life was in jeopardy. Trying to save him had to be the first consideration. 1:50 p.m. Sergeant Jack Wiseman inched his way out on the ledge of the 13th story and kept Walter Harrison busy talking. Anything to keep his mind off the jump. Captain Steed got on the phone and talked to the manager of the Hobart building, a 12-story structure 3 blocks away with a large clock set into either side of it. The same clock Harrison was keeping time by.
Yeah, that's right, just so you don't make it look too obvious. Okay, Mr. Walsh, thank you. They're going to do all they can. Let's hope it works.
Yeah, what'd he say?
They're going to start slowing down the clock in the building right away. If Harrison goes by that time, it's going to be a long 10 minutes.
Well, how much they figure they can stretch it?
About 5 or 6 minutes without making it look too obvious.
We can sure use it. Let's hope Harrison doesn't catch on.
Manager said they'll stop the clock when it's a minute to go. It'll never reach 2 o'clock.
Skipper.
Yeah, Romero.
I just checked with the rescue squad down the street. They're stringing out more nets.
Yeah?
They're not guaranteeing anything.
How do you mean?
They're worried about those ledges jutting up from the building every other floor. They say if Harrison jumps close enough, he's bound to hit one of them. If he does, he'll be dead before he reaches street level. Nets down there won't do him any good.
Well, nothing we can do about it. Something else we'll have to hand over to luck.
Have they come up with any ideas, Ben?
Just one. Sounds like it could work.
What's that?
They figured like we did. The overhang on the roof is too wide to lower a man directly down on top of Harrison to grab him.
Yeah?
They think it might work if they try this. Put a man in a rope sling just over the edge of the roof. Lower him down toward Harrison as close as possible without tipping him. Give him a good line. Let him try to rope Harrison.
I don't know.
They got any candidates to try it?
Yeah, one. The guy's been on the rescue squad for years. Supposed to be an expert with a lasso.
Captain?
Yeah, might do it. I don't know.
Yeah. What happens if he misses Harrison?
Who knows? What happens if Harrison jumps?
Captain? I just got off that ledge in a hurry. He came at me with that knife.
Is he any closer to the window?
He backed off again. Something else, that clock in the Hobart building.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he's wise to that gimmick. He's given it up.
What do you mean?
The 2 o'clock deadline. He's not going to wait for it.
1:55 p.m. A specially equipped police car with loudspeakers mounted on the roof was rushed to the intersection of 3rd and Temple Streets opposite the Fitzroy building. Sergeant Jack Wiseman took Walter Harrison's sister, Ruth, down in the elevator to the street. She got on the police car microphone and started talking to her brother over the loudspeakers. Word was passed to the special detail of men from the fire department's rescue squad standing by on the roof of the building. They went to work. Captain Steed went up to the roof to see if he could assist them. Ben and I waited in the office on the 13th floor. The nurse, Miss Lenahan, and Jean Bechtel were with us. 1:57 p.m. The men on the roof started to lower the man from the rescue squad in a rope sling. He held a double-strength lasso in his hand. The end of it was wrapped around his body and tied securely. Ben and I watched from the window. We looked along the narrow ledge. Walter Harrison stood erect and motionless, an open pocket knife in one hand, his feet poised on the brink of a 13-story jump. The voice of Harrison's sister drifted up from the loudspeakers down on the street.
Walter? This is Ruth, Walter. Can you hear me? This is Ruth. I want you to come home with me, Walter. Please. You've got to understand.
Sister's doing all right. Finish it for sure if it looks up.
Yeah, sure will.
There's nothing wrong. No one's going to hurt you. We want to help you, Walter. Please.
I can't see, Joe. They're letting the man down?
Yeah, coming slow.
There's
Wait a minute.
nothing to be afraid of. You know that, don't you? Come home with me, please. I'll take care of you. I'll see that you're safe. That you're all right.
Joe, how's Harrison doing? Can you see? Yeah, he's looking down, not moving at all.
Nobody's going to hurt you, believe me. These people are your friends. They want to help you. Can you hear me, Walter? They want to help you.
That's it.
What?
Man coming down on the rope. He's just above Harrison now.
They're your friends. You can trust me, your sister Ruth. You've got to trust me, Walter. I want to take care of you. I want to take you home.
Yeah, I see the man now. He's right above me. Got the lasso ready.
Keep your fingers crossed. What is it? What's happening?
A lasso. He's throwing it.
Get away from me!
Miss, Joey, miss.
Walter, wait a minute. Harrison!
I'm alive! Just get him away from me! Get him away!
Pull that man up! Pull him out of the way!
That doesn't.
Oh, he's still on the ledge. I'm going out.
Joe, wait a minute.
No?
It's only a chance.
Yeah?
Why don't you get him mad at you? Say anything, insult him.
Well, I'll try.
Anything to make him go for you. If you can get him down to this window, I can grab him.
If I get him by the window, I'll hold on to him, huh?
Yeah. When you grab him, try to lean as close to the building as you can.
There's not much to lean on the other way. 1:59 p.m. I got through the window and out onto the ledge. The crowds jamming the streets below had swollen to almost twice their size. A few blocks away, the big clock on the side of the Hobart building read 5 minutes to 2, but Harrison wasn't looking at it. He still had his eyes fixed on the pavement 13 stories beneath us. He'd torn off his collar and his shirt was ripped open at the neck. He waved his arms and shouted at the crowd below as he tottered along the ledge toward the corner of the building, away from the window that I was supposed to lure him into. In his right hand, he still held onto the open pocket knife.
You're not going to get your hands on me. You're not even going to get close.
Wait a minute, Harrison. Watch it.
You watch me, mister. I'm going to jump right through them down there. Those dirty animals. You just watch.
All right, wait a minute. I got a message for you from your sister Ruth. Now, do you want to hear it?
You won't get your hands on me. None of you. I'll see you later, mister.
You're a phony, Harrison. You're a phony liar.
I'm a what?
You heard me. You're not kidding anybody.
You don't think I can jump, huh? Well, you just watch.
Anybody can jump. Any phony can do that.
What?
It doesn't take anything. Those animals down there in the street, any one of them could do that. You're just like one of them.
I've still got this knife. I've used it before. I can kill you.
You couldn't kill anything. You haven't got the guts. You're a phony.
You're a liar. You're a rotten liar. I can cut you to pieces.
Oh, you talk big, Harrison, but you're all talk.
I can cut you to pieces.
You haven't got me fooled, mister. Not for a minute.
I'll cut you to pieces.
You haven't got half the nerve. You're a phony and you know it.
You're a rotten liar. You stand still. Go on. You stand still and I'll show you.
Oh, you talk a real good game, but that's about all. You're all talk.
I'll show you. I still have my knife and I'll kill you right now.
Yeah, sure you will.
You're backing away. You're afraid.
You're a phony, Harrison. Nobody's afraid of a phony.
Cut you up good.
I'm waiting for you. Come on. What's the matter, Harrison?
You're not waiting. Stay still and stop backing away. Now stop!
I tell you, you come and get me, huh? Haven't you got enough nerve? Or you're just talking again. All talk, huh?
That window. You've got to stop by the window and then I'll cut you to pieces.
All right, Harrison. Here. Now you go ahead. Prove you're a phony.
All right. I'll show you. You rotten liar.
All right, Warren, now drop it.
I can't kill you. You rotten liar. I'll cut you to pieces.
Drop it. Joe, look out. Grab them. They're going to fall.
Well, how close can it get?
Here. Nurse?
That was just wonderful, Sergeant. Both of you. Are you all right?
Yeah, fine. Would you mind getting Captain Spade for us, please? You know who he is.
Oh, surely, right away.
Well,
Yeah, it was a rough one.
yeah, Dan, looked like you were both going over the side.
Yeah.
Thought I'd lost you, Joe.
Well, you didn't have to worry.
No?
No. You told me which way to lean.
The story you have just heard was true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent. On September 10th, a sanity hearing was held at the County Hospital Psychopathic Ward, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that hearing. Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you. Friends, there's one big difference in long cigarettes, and here's the one sentence that tells the full story. In Fatima, the difference is quality. That's why this headline is being featured in leading national magazines. Yes, these new Fatima full-page color ads are another proof of Fatima's fast-growing popularity. More long cigarette smokers are insisting on Fatima quality than ever before. Now, if you're a long cigarette smoker like I am, buy a pack of extra mild Fatimas. You'll find, as I have, that Fatimas now cost the same, but in Fatima, the difference is quality.
After being examined by 6 psychiatrists, Walter John Harrison was judged mentally incompetent. On his sister's request, he was committed to a private sanitarium. 7 months later, Harrison took his own life by hanging. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Fatima Cigarettes, best of all long cigarettes, has brought you Dragnet, portion transcribed from Los Angeles. We the People is next with stories of today on NBC.